Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
I concede.
The crossover is powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com.
Gary had a good show. Gary had a good show today.
Why, thank you.
So
I think we had a
you earned it.
We had a good show.
We had a good show, but Gary stepped up.
Okay,
It's impossible for you guys to have. You can't be one good, one bad. You either are good or are bad together.
No, but like Mondays, I've told people this. I haven't told Gary this, but I've told people this. I'm like, I think Mondays are Gary's ready to go. Gary's ready to fire on Monday.
You should be.
And it's just like
I think everybody should be a little bit more like
and
that.
we're just
3 straight days talking about this.
I know. But you fire, and then we fire back, but it's a good Monday's always a good Gary show.
All right, let's discuss a little disappointment here. So I heard you and Josh doing Big Red Overreaction. Good show. You sounded like you were ready to be done.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Season's
Can
over.
we talk as a whole here? The lack of drunk people that have called Big Red Overreaction in 2025.
It's tough. Now
people are drinking less.
Probably true.
I did a night game, and I also did a 2:30, and then I did the 11. And the 11 was obviously the least drunk. And then the Michigan State game was at 2:30, right? And that was a little more drunk. And then the Penn State game was just like, all right, dear God, what's going on here? Is there enough alcohol to feed this entire state? So yeah, I think it just depends on the game time.
Okay.
But yeah, we had to, or I felt like I was supplying the emotion to the show.
Yes.
Which is not usually the case.
Yes.
Not usually the case.
It was a good conversation by you and Josh. Now, I almost called in because you let the guy, and I heard it was either you or Josh laughing in the background.
The Charlotte Chamber of Commerce guy?
Yeah.
But that was perfect. That was a perfect time.
Why
for
do you
him.
encourage that?
You got to check the box, Gary. Got to check the box.
You know what?
What if we didn't though? What if we?
He kept going. Look, I was willing to just ride it out.
It was good.
You are willing to ride a lot of these callers out.
Oh,
I will give you that.
Look, it's a 2-hour show. I got to pass the time somehow.
Connor Happer, if you want to call in to BROR and you want a long leash, you call in when Connor's got you. Because admittedly, and Josh has seen this, I will cut him off and be like, all right, you're good. You got your thoughts and you're perfect. You let him go. There was one caller that it was the only call that I listened to, and it was like 3.5 minutes, and he just unloaded the clip.
Yeah, but that's what that show is for.
If he's unloading it, he's unloading it.
It's like therapy.
If he's rambling, we kind of know where to jump in and all right.
Well,
you got your point across.
On that one, you go, all right, we're done here.
Okay, so that guy, it was good for 3 weeks, and then people like Matt let it go on for a lot longer.
People like Matt. It's a good bit. It was funny.
Bit.
It was funny.
It is awful. People they get rid of it, and then they tune into the 17 other post-game shows that go on.
There's other post-game shows?
Mm-hmm.
It was like
19.
So
I'm not aware of this.
Hey, when you scan the dial, you get a lot of Christmas music on Friday, or you get every station in Nebraska is doing a Husker pre or post-game show.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as we do.
There's like four people who do Creighton post-game
The other thing
shows.
that we've run into in 2025, because I have quite a few friends that like to call into Big Red Overreaction, we had a lot of people that were not using their real name this year.
Yes.
There was a guy that called in that was a really good conversation between the three of you. And I'm like, that's not his name. His real name is Mike. Okay. But he was like
Rusty.
He was like Charles on air.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So I texted him and I said, what are you doing? This is a good call. Why don't you use your real name? And he said, because my wife is listening.
That's fine. That's fine. Maybe we should host Big Red Overreaction under pseudonyms as well.
Ooh.
I like that.
Nice.
Maybe we should be drunk.
Yeah. How about we just change names? Just I go Gary Sharp here, hosting with Josh Peterson, and we just flip flop.
Oh,
we don't have as much anger. Like
well,
remember when you would do a
there's a reason for that.
We've been down these roads before.
Anger.
Yeah.
Now it's just kind of like
you're just
people
annoyed.
are upset, but they're not like, you know what it was like when Frost was a head coach and Big Red Overreaction was a dumpster fire because people were livid.
Mm-hmm.
They were like losing their voice, complaining and screaming.
Well, no
one's kind of like, Okay, terrible, blah, 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 blah. Thanks, guys.
To be fair, no one wrote a comic book about, Matt Rule when he got hired, or there weren't very well-respected Omaha World Herald writers saying, oh, in 2022, they're going to lose to Texas in the national championship, and then they'll beat them the next year. I mean, that wasn't really happening when Rule got hired. It was more so, God, I hope they make a bowl game next year. That'd be fun. 6 wins. Don't you remember when that was a thing? Kind of in 7 weeks.
It's a sad, sad time. Sad time.
By the way, the Minnesota game was the essence of what I was warned Big Red Overreaction would be. That was drunk. That was angry. There was a lot of yelling.
Yeah, you had all the checkpoints.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't show. It was a night game. It was Friday.
Yeah. Minnesota was the Big Red Overreaction. Like I've had people tell me about some of their favorite calls from
Which
Minnesota.
Big Red Overreactions did you do, Gary? Which ones did you do? Do you remember them all?
I did Maryland.
How do you
Give me a break?
I did USC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Josh won, Gary won. What's up with that?
What's up with that?
My schedule did not allow me to do more.
What's up with that? Wasn't that an SNL? What's up with that?
What's up with
But
that?
I think maybe we should do Big Red Overreaction from Vegas on New Year's Eve.
I'm not going to Vegas.
Gary's-
I know you've already said that.
Gary's volunteer.
Oh, I got to take away
Yeah,
my.
like I'm doing the show with.
Most likely John Bishop.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Waiting
right.
for that announcement to be finalized.
Whew.
I
There was,
just,
there was about to be some furniture moving.
It's like New Year's. The Vegas Bowl is New Year's Eve, like during the day,
It's
right?
like 4 or 5:30.
I had to turn off my automatic reply, which will be turned back on for Christmas. My automatic reply was, "I'm on vacation. Don't even think about me." That was my automatic reply
For what? Emails?
For emails. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'd never done that
Kinda
before.
harsh.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not even a thought in your brain.
So
during
you just
Thanksgiving.
came back from there. You wouldn't want to go back out there?
Well, I mean, I always love going to Vegas.
There
but,
it is.
But not on New Year's Eve. And,
I thought you were going to say not to watch the Huskers.
that's what he told me Friday. He said, not on New Year's Eve.
not on New
Like,
Year's
this
Eve.
does not excite me.
Also, like they're not gonna, like the real thing.
They're not
is,
going to win.
They're not gonna comp my room
Oh.
on New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So I only go to
Okay.
Vegas if it's free.
You're all about the comps. You are all about the. I respect the grind.
The
You
mo-
are very.
the money that I put on the tables and the slots last week has not resulted in
rollover?
comps yet.
Well, you
know?
play slots at like weird Nebraska places, and then you've texted me. You're like, "Hey, don't play these slots."
Well, you
What,
gotta
you
get
go
a
to
scouting
Casey's
report.
and play slots
No,
here in town?
I don't play the slots at Casey's. I don't have points.
Who's got the loosest slots in town?
Great question, Josh.
What's the gas station? The
Quick Trip.
Mega Saver.
Mega Saver.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the new one on 72nd and Dodge. I imagine it's pretty
I'm
good
going to be
there.
honest with you. The last time I went to the casino and properly gambled, I had the worst time. Not even just from a money standpoint, just from a like enjoying yourself standpoint. That I think I'm retired until I go to Vegas. I think I'm just going to save up all the $150 buy-ins. We'll just roll over.
Okay. Well,
Probably-
good luck. Well, maybe you'll be there. Maybe you'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, I mean, we got a crew. We got a crew. We officially got 6
No, but
guys.
I'm saying maybe you'll be there at the end of the month.
No, I
You
ain't.
want to go out there and do Big Red Overreaction?
No,
Want to go to the game?
no,
You've ever been to a bowl game?
no, I haven't. I've
So-
never been to a bowl game in my life.
Creighton plays here the day before that
Okay.
at late
Ooh.
at 8:00.
Oh
All right,
God.
First flight out.
So
in the morning.
you'd be on that first flight out, which was the case for me last Sunday, and then it's a long day to get to the game, and then it's New Year's Eve that night. That's a long day, folks.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a no for me, dog. Is Randy Jackson?
no for me, dog.
How
It'll be a no for
many?
me, dog.
So I think there will be people that Nebraska fans that are located in the Vegas area or out west that are within driving distance will go to the game.
Of course.
Probably. What do you think? Like, in the past when Nebraska regularly went to bowl games, you would get like Travel and Transport would already have the tour out. They'd be like, the
I know.
Alumni Association.
People don't save their money for bowl game trips anymore
No, they don't.
because
That's very sad.
they're less flashy destinations,
Mhm.
and
They are, and they don't mean anything.
and yeah.
They don't mean a thing. It does not. I'm going to tell you right now. In the grand scheme of things,
What are people saving all
it
that money
really,
for?
it really doesn't.
There's no big
matter.
non-conference road games
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Oh, this would be cool. Nebraska
all
has a
that
trip
much.
to Washington this year.
Well, Nebraska played
We're
Boston
going to Eugene,
College.
isn't it? We've already decided the 1620 zone houses in Eugene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Eugene next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nebraska football played a bowl game last year against Boston College. Boston College had 2 draft picks. All right, Ezerike for Dallas and
Didn't play.
and Ozzie Trapilla for the Bears. They both didn't play.
Mhm.
Both their best 2 players did not play in that game. When they
Nice.
go and play Utah, Utah is going to have. I think they have 2 guys who are on the offensive line who are going to go on day 1 or day 2. They're both not going to play.
What about Emmett Johnson?
I don't think he should play. I think he's made his case. His stock is his
Yeah,
stock. I don't think he's got anything more to prove. I don't think Emmett's stock is going to go any more up by play.
I think he should be with the team but not play, and allow Nebraska to start to make these decisions on the running back room. Let Mosey and Nelson play a lot in that game.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I mean it's all made up.
If Emmett is going to go any higher,
Everybody's going to be in the portal or fake in the portal or whatever it is. Declare their intentions to go into the portal. You know, Nebraska's already going to have declared from the guys that have intentions to go into the portal that they're on Nebraska's team for next year. They're going to be playing for the other team. You know, it's all made up.
Well,
so this is like if somebody balls out in the bowl game that had not been playing well, we're like, oh, they're gone.
Yes,
Because
yes.
They just jump in the
this
portal.
is my last chance to put something on tape.
Yes, not a joke. Quinn and Ives, this is your shot, buddy.
Does Nebraska have any early enrollees that will be participating in bowl practice this year?
Well, they only have 9 commitments. Isn't Puma coming early?
Dayton was supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Dayton was, but did Dayton? Has anything happened with that? Dayton?
Well, I think he's waiting on a couple things.
I think it's a package.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry,
Might be waiting on a thing or two.
my bad.
2026, 9
I don't know.
commits.
I thought
don't
maybe
think
he'd
Dan-
commit to Charlotte.
I don't think Danny Odom is.
He's not.
Is
Well,
Jace
no, he
Reynolds?
might, yeah, he might be, but
He should.
because of the high school football playoffs go into December.
He should come early. If anybody should come early, it's Danny Odom, because Danny Odom actually might have an opportunity to play next year.
Let me see if Danny Odom shows up and he actually is playing against
Danny
Utah.
Odom.
Wait a minute. You
He's a
were just
5-star.
in high school. Yeah,
He's the dog
Is he a dog?
He's a dog.
Yeah.
How do you know about that?
because he told me he's a dog,
Yeah.
and then I watched his tape.
I know.
Oh, he
I
said he's a
know
dog.
some
Oh,
people
he's
that
a-
I
he's-
trust
got
in
it.
Orlando
Yeah.
that have watched him play in person, like games, actual games, not
We-
7-on-7, and they're like, he is a steal for Nebraska.
We-
Nebraska. So Ohio State and Michigan wanted him, and that's
Yeah.
why 2 weeks ago he confirmed his commitment.
Yeah.
That's a huge.
Is he
stake
like
for
a
Nebraska.
is he like a Lamar Jackson dog or like a
A
different
little bit.
kind
a
of dog?
little, but
A little
I
bit.
mean,
He's faster,
he's
And I
long.
will say that he's probably got better football IQ.
I don't know if Lamar Jackson's
he
the
is-
comp you want.
He is
right
a
now.
he's a long
Lamar Jackson, the defensive back.
He's
Oh.
he's a long at like
Yeah.
he's a long
And then they've got the lineman from Chicago,
in Puma,
Puma,
Who's-
who's a 4-star.
who's playing his state championship game
Yeah.
in 2 days.
Um,
I like a guy
That's-
named Claude. That's cool.
Tight end from Anaheim, I like Luke Sorensen.
Yep, he's on there.
So
But other than that, it's kind of
and then we had a caller, Gary from Venice, right? Or is that Dave?
Dave.
Sorry, Dave from Venice,
From Venice.
Venice, Florida.
Oh, okay.
And he told us, he was like, this Odom kid.
All right.
So,
We trust Dave from Venice.
he's very fast.
so.
It would have been
can he-
great if they got Braunau too, but you know,
What do you go to Ohio State?
yeah,
Hmm.
because he decommitted from Florida.
Yeah. So Wednesday probably. I don't know. I mean, Rule will have a press conference on Wednesday, right?
Oh,
Even with a small class.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He in what army?
that is a good one.
And most of the questions will not have to do with your recruiting class.
Yeah. Why are you guys so soft? That's question number one. Remember when you guys got killed by Iowa 5 days ago?
He hasn't
40 points. 40.
He hasn't flopped yet. So he's still at Florida, Braunau.
Oh,
He's still
flip.
he hasn't flipped yet. Yeah.
Oh, there's time.
That you should go to Lincoln and ask him, hey, what would be the nicest way to ask him why is your team so soft? Be like, hey, coach, seemed like you guys kind of were swimming it on the defensive line against Minnesota and Iowa and Penn
defensive
State.
line, linebackers, defensive backs.
and they were able to kind of get a little bit more push than we were accustomed to seeing. How do you think you address that in the offseason? I think that's the best way of going about that. So the 2+2. It's going to be like, hey, coach, why is your team weak and soft and slow?
Is that a reflection of you? Go somewhere like that.
How do you and your staff address
I'll be
adversity
honest with you. So
mid-game?
be honest with you, my head coach for the Chicago Bears took off his shirt in the post game. Did you see that?
No.
No, I did not.
And he's ripped, right? Like
That's your top-seeded
Ben
Chicago
Johnson's
Bears.
ripped, like he's got a lot of muscle on him. I don't know how I feel about that.
Did he send it in a Snapchat?
No, it was just it was posted on the NFL Twitter. that
Okay.
he took
So you
off
didn't
his shirt
have
in
to
the
send it
locker
in a
room.
Snapchat.
And I'm just saying, like, what are you doing? Like, why you shouldn't have enough time to be jacked as an NFL head coach. You should be game planning.
Oh.
You should be coaching. You shouldn't have enough time to be in great shape.
Interesting take.
Like, you could be in good,
No,
like, you
that's,
could,
that's because Hugh Freeze, he golfed a lot.
All the exercise equipment's right there, though.
but you could be. I'm
Scott
not
Frost
saying
just
that-
kept getting more
I'm
and
not
more
saying-
jacked when he was here. His
It-
traps just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Exactly. If you have so much time to work out and be jacked, why aren't you getting ready for the game?
I'm guessing there are other things there with Scott.
Did you see how they
Florida didn't make a bowl game, did they?
No, they
they
did not. They had to win.
No, but
this
he's
weekend.
used
and they
to
were
it.
up 14-0. Did you see how bad they did him on that graphic?
No,
Was it an on-3 graphic?
no, I didn't.
It was one of the
plain
oh my god, search
wood.
dude, they had this picture of Scott Frost and it looked like they put him through one of those age filters that made him like
Oh.
72. And
Do you
here,
know what
I'll
they-
try,
Oh
I'll try.
God!
I'll try, yeah. Show everybody that. Show everybody that picture. Okay. That's gonna go.
This is from Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like somebody did a Marty Smith age. Like,
Yeah.
Marty Smith, who, by the way, that looked like where he interviewed Kiffin was in a Netflix crime drama. That site. I mean, that's what it looked like. But
That was
somebody
awesome.
did that with Marty Smith. He's been in
Yeah,
Oxford
yeah.
so long.
Yeah. What a great interview that was.
It really was a good
That was
interview.
awesome. What a great day yesterday
they
for
must-
college football.
So for him to be able to go there and for Kiffin to be like that, they have a past relationship. Like, it must be a really, really good
Yeah.
relationship.
He's like, "You're not leaving without doing this," and he was like, "Yeah, I know."
Marty Smith, they trapped him at the Ole Miss athletic facility for days.
For days.
For days. He was just, every time we went to Marty Smith, he had an Ole Miss sign behind him. I'm like, let Marty go.
There's crappy fence at the
Yeah,
airport around him.
everything is brown and gray, and I love that. I love that. That's so college football.
One of the greatest no context college football pictures of all time will be Lane Kiffin's like shirt rack just outside
Yeah.
the facility.
Yeah.
Where it's just, if you can just, in 5 years, we'll just put that out there.
So I think that should be the start of the new ESPN documentary, the new E60. It's just the Marty Smith interview, and then he gets on the plane and goes away, and then you retrace the last 48 hours of Lane Kiffin's life.
They could do a 30 for 30 called Losing Lane. And it's like every
Good time.
time Lane has left a place and how it won, like how the departure was and like what occurred.
Not usually pretty, is it?
What if I
No.
told you
What if
the
I-
man ejected from the tarmac did an interview on the tarmac?
On the tarmac.
What if I told you one of the greatest head coaches in college football history never stayed in his lane?
Mm.
Hey, after being in,
He's not one of the greatest college head coaches in
being
history. I'm
Baton
just assuming
Rouge
that would
last
happen.
week, if they wouldn't have gotten him, they would have burned that town down.
It would have been funny.
Oh my gosh! Everywhere you went, everybody was talking about Kiffin.
Any result would have been funny, but yeah. But I agree with that. That also would have been
Yes.
funny if LSU wouldn't have gotten him.
Connor Happer here for chaos.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm not involved, absolutely.
And then they had to go hat in hand to the Tulane head coach and said, "Excuse me, will you save us?"
And then all the other SEC programs went out and just hired random G5 coaches.
Yes.
Like,
So-
what are they
Yeah.
doing?
So the Big Ten and the SEC, the buyouts this offseason are $200 million.
Hey, God,
mean,
dude, John,
LSU up until for 2 more weeks, they have to pay Orgeron, Kelly, and
Nice.
Lane Kiffin.
Nice.
well, shout out Jonathan Smith, man, because he won't get employed for a while, but he's walking away with a nice
He took
bag.
$33 million
Took
to move
thir-
for 2 years in East Lansing.
Dude, 33, just out of there. Just good for John, man. Good for him. Just get the hell out. And then
Old
go and
John
take
Smith.
old John Smith. He'll be like the cow, or he'll be the Fresno State head coach in 2 years, or the Arizona head coach.
Oh, they'll bring him back to
He'll be
Oregon State.
something.
Can
yeah.
you imagine, after all the wildness of the Kiffin search and ending up at LSU, can you imagine if Twitter existed when Steve Peterson was trying to hire the replacement for Solich?
Long 40 days.
That
40 days.
That
40
should be
days.
a 30 for 30.
I mean, we are past that territory on the Penn State job. What the hell are they going to do?
I know.
Well,
they're like, oh, they got this big swing out there. Okay, where is he? Where is?
And that's why I think it might be Joe Brady.
It's got to be
And-
somebody
But
working in the
working-
NFL,
yeah.
right?
But if
Or
it would-
Terry Smith. It has to
Mhm.
probably be
Yeah.
just him at at this point.
But with Joe Brady's season isn't going to end until February, hypothetically, right? So it's like, wouldn't the Bills prefer him to just leave now and just, hey, take the job now, get
Or he
ready
just
to
called
be
plays.
But like, wouldn't the Bills rather have the lead up of, hey, all right, here's our new play caller. He's going to get a couple of weeks to get it under his belt before you get to the playoffs, as opposed to Joe Brady either going all the way through the playoffs and then Penn State being screwed in the portal, or you go all the way up to the portal and then it's like you're a week away from the playoffs and the Bills have a new play caller. Like, wouldn't it just make sense to hire him now and get it out of the way for both sides?
Definitely.
So I think it's probably they're going to end up with a JMU head coach.
Well, I heard him for
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which so we played,
Not Jed?
we played JMU, and the radio guy who is a former Nebraska track and field guy who Bishop and I hired in Lincoln. He said they think he's more of a fit at Penn State because going out west, he doesn't have any connection out
No,
west.
you got no. Yeah. When they make
Bob.
isn't Jed Fish, wasn't he locked in to be the UCLA head coach essentially?
No idea.
Until
No idea.
maybe Lincoln leaves USC and then Jed Fish takes a USC.
What if Nebraska had an opening and Matt Rule did go to Penn State? Nebraska right now is trying to hire a coach.
Oh, well, if it was
Bad time. That'd be a bad time.
Yeah, bad.
Possibly worse than
Why
what it
just-
is right now. It's a pretty bad time right
just
now.
get Matt Campbell.
Oh yeah, he's available. He'll take
Yeah.
any job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get Matt Campbell.
I mean, if Iowa
Hey,
State
problem
makes-
solved.
if Iowa State
That was
makes
quick.
it through this hiring cycle and he's still at Iowa State, he's a lifer.
Disagree. He'll leave at whatever opportunity comes his way.
I would
We've
like Ben
already
Simmons to do a special 4-hour podcast on all the
Bill,
what did I say?
you said Ben.
You said-
Ben Simmons would be a terrible podcast.
Yeah.
Bill Simmons podcast on all the sliding doors of Matt Campbell going to all these places he's been rumored to go to over the last 10 years.
Well, there
Nebraska
was,
4 times.
So there's
I think he did that
a
with
local
like
guy
Miles
who-
Turner.
who is on his staff that when the USC job was open before Lincoln Riley, like USC wanted Matt Campbell, and like his assistant coaches are like, "What are you doing? It's USC." He's like, "Nah." He goes, "Man," he goes, "I got my kids and I'm coaching softball in the summer." And they're like, "It's USC." They were on the road recruiting. They're like, "Coach, it's USC," and he's like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yep, whatever.
Well, he had
He's a Midwest guy for sure.
He was like crying during that senior night or senior day when he almost went to USC, and I think at the time he thought it was going to be his last game. Man,
he was at Toledo.
Toledo.
Yeah.
He's been at Iowa State now for a while.
Yeah, it's probably been almost a decade.
is
right?
the Lance Leipold shine?
Yeah.
Is that worn off a
Yeah.
little bit because
not making the
Kansas?
bowl this year.
Yeah. All right. So Kleiman would be the next one if he were to ever leave Kansas State.
Well, now that Fitzgerald has got a home, Kirk might stay longer at Iowa now.
Matt Campbell just finished his 10th season
Yeah.
at Iowa State.
And I think they have, so they're 19-7 in the last 2 years. They had all kinds of injuries this year.
Yep.
But they won 8 games again.
Yep, 8-4.
Who, Iowa State?
Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, dude. Iowa State before they got hurt was a really good football team, and then they just lost everybody in that secondary. The Big 12 got hit by injuries big time. That was a really competitive conference for the first 6 weeks, and then it kind of just went off the rails. And now you have Texas Tech and BYU.
I didn't see you at the
Just Texas
the
Tech.
Killigans performing at the Cornhusker kickoff.
Whoa, they
on
did.
Friday. Yes.
I didn't know that.
I think they should perform live in the stadium next year for a game.
This has become your new bit, which is just out of nowhere that
Who-
you love this song.
Who was the host? Who was the MC? D Wayne. Yeah, had to be D Wayne.
So
is
yes,
you,
they
Wayne.
performed live.
Awesome.
did they
Come
not
on,
play it
running
during the-
boys.
Don't you hear the noise? Didn't they play?
Catchy, isn't it?
I already know the song.
It's,
Didn't-
oh, yeah.
Did they not play it at the Iowa game? You were complaining about
No, they
that.
did.
Okay.
They did.
But you were
But
complaining.
I want them. No, I want them to play in person.
Oh,
like instead of the canned one,
okay.
They come out and play.
When
Like
they
they're
had
on
them,
the
they were
tractor.
there. Why didn't they just bring them out?
I'm not sure. Maybe logistics.
Probably.
Yeah, your Nebraska's down 24 points. Here come in the Killigans. Woo!
Yeah, just better as a canned.
Yeah,
know.
probably.
You can put the lyrics up on the board, and they're like, "What is Nebraska?" What is
They
that?
needed it to
Am I supposed to say
rhyme.
Nebraska?
It's like when Eminem did the orange porridge, Dorgange. You know, you just not. And you need to go ahead and mix it up.
How about Jack White? Halftime of the
Yeah.
Packers Lions.
That was awesome.
It was pretty good.
Jack White.
Jack White. Seven
Oh,
Nation
that's
Army.
the rock guy. Who
Yeah,
was
he
the-
performed that live.
Big sports guy. Big sports guy.
He loves the Tigers, which is weird because he definitely doesn't look like a sports guy.
He's a huge sport. He's always at the sporting
Yeah,
events.
but he does not look the part,
no,
I
he
mean, look
doesn't.
at we had
fine.
Jack White and then we had Posty for the Cowboys.
Good
And I
halftime
guess-
shows.
Yes, and he did like some of his old stuff when he was a rapper, which was very good. And then he
People
did some
forget.
of his new country stuff. And if I hear Beyonce's the Texas song, that's all they play. But then did you see that Posty after the game just stayed on the field and was playing catch with fans,
Awesome.
Yeah.
playing football?
That's what I would
cool.
do.
He's a cool guy.
He seems like a good,
He's
cool
a cool
guy.
guy. I like Posky.
His life is.
I like
He's
him.
yeah,
I
he's
like
big
him,
country now.
I like him way better as a rapper. Like better now was one of the best songs of the 220. I think it was 2020s, but it was.
But I
awesome.
think that's what they're saying on the streets is that
thinking I'm
rappers
a
become
better
in the
now.
country world. What's the big fella?
Big X the plug.
Yes,
Yeah.
Always on those award shows.
he is. Like he was.
He's got like multiple
Hey,
country
so-
crossovers.
so
your,
he
your
has-
pockets of pop culture are crazy.
He has a song with Luke Combs that's going to become really, really popular.
Yeah, he's got like 4 country songs right
You
now.
you'll find
but
no
he
one
doesn't
else.
like wearing a shirt.
No, he doesn't.
You'll find
He's
no.
a big fella.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
You'll find no one else in America who can go from Big X the Plug to Tommy Boy like Connor Happer.
That might be true. I know about Big X the plug. He's good. Hey, that's what he says.
Well,
Who
did you
was he
see?
when he was Joshua
Hey.
Whitmore, and now he's with Luke Combs.
Did you see? He like sucked. He did the helium thing where it makes your voice higher.
Yeah,
And then he goes, "Oh, this isn't going away," and he got really afraid that it was permanent.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, "This isn't good for my
his
brand."
helium voice was like still 3 octaves lower than
I didn't
anyone
even know
else.
he was on helium.
It's
Dude,
good.
I already sound like a child. I couldn't imagine me on helium. It'd be bad.
We can make it happen if you wanted.
You've never done the helium thing?
No, I don't do drugs.
I don't.
It's a great drug. It only lasts about 10 seconds.
It sounds like a
I don't
terrible
think it has
drug.
any effect on you, except for your voice.
I don't know. I don't mess with that.
Go to,
Just try it. Suck a
You know what, here's
balloon.
what you do. Here, this would be a good.
Just suck up a little
Hey,
helium.
go to the Dollar Tree
No,
because they sell.
I'm
the
getting
balloons.
helium from the
balloon super-
Dollar
The
Tree.
ball.
Yeah, that's I don't know why.
The worst thing that happens at Dollar Tree is when you get in line behind somebody that wants the balloons, and they have the big balloon display at the front of the store, which you can pick your favorite one, and then it takes the person working behind the counter to go over and fill up the balloon, and you're standing there in line because at Dollar Tree, inevitably, they might have 3 lanes, but only one is open because
Sure.
nobody works there.
Sure.
I can't remember the last time I went into a Dollar Tree.
I was there yesterday.
Well, where I do my
Why,
indie.
don't look down on Dollar
I'm not
Tree.
looking down on it. I
Hey,
just can't remember the last time I went
Well,
into one.
when I
They
do
got-
when I go to
I
the
haven't needed a Gatorade in a while.
when I do my independent professional wrestling events, they're always next to a Dollar Tree. So you go to the Dollar Tree and get snacks.
That tracks.
The 2 different spots that we've been
Well,
to.
now it's a
that I-
$1.25 tree. but-
well, it's $1. It's $2.25 a tree now.
Whoa.
Are we not a Dollar General city? We're a Dollar Tree
I've
city.
never been in a Dollar General.
Dollar
yeah.
Generals are cool.
Now I would so my rankings I would go Five Below,
Five
and then I
Below,
go $1.25 tree, and then Dollar General.
Yeah.
$1.25 tree. That's what it is.
Five Below is
Five Below is
hopping.
kicking it, man.
They got
Oh,
they
my
got
kid loves that
candy.
place.
They got little toys.
They got electronics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You go to the back of a Five Below. Oh my gosh!
Poll question: have you ever been to the back of a Five Below?
All
I
right.
didn't even know what they meant. I didn't even know what kind of a store it was, and I was out the one off of L Street, and I walked in. I'm like, oh my god, this is incredible. This is a
were you
much
a
fancier
kid in a
$1.25
candy store or a 50-year-old in
Well, no,
a
they have
Five
a
Below?
variety of candy.
They do 10 cents a piece.
Oh.
It's great.
Yeah.
My kid loves it because, yeah, go nuts, get all the candy you want.
But when I in my second life, I'm going to open up a bunch of $1.25 trees next to movie theaters.
People go in there, get their
That's actually
candy.
smart.
So you remember the one? It's now closed. The one that was on Center, like at 120th and Center. It was
Nobbies.
West. Was it Westwood?
The movie theater?
The
or
movie
the,
theater.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The movie theater
the
where you-
dollar movie theater.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
when you
yeah,
walked
yeah,
in
yeah,
there
yeah,
and your
yeah.
feet stuck to the floor
Uh-huh.
because there was so much spilled pop. There was a Dollar Tree right there next to it.
Yeah, and it was
was
a dollar.
ideal.
It was a
Yeah.
dollar theater too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
After a certain point in time.
That's that like We don't have any of those anymore, do we?
We'll be at the
Lincoln.
Westwood Plaza this week for
We will.
Stuff the Truck.
Unsportsmanlike conduct live this Friday.
Nice.
Mm-mm.
I forgot when I signed up for that.
All right.
You'll have fun.
Well, it's a big week. Big week. Big week around here.
Big week
Big
leading
week.
up to Sunday.
Oh, Sunday is going to be an interesting and fun day for everyone.
I know the Bears and Packers, man. That'll be a big game.
Chiefs and the Texans.
Oh, another do-or-die game.
Wait.
And
What?
we find out where we're going for a bowl game.
What time is that Creighton Nebraska game on
4.
Sunday?
It's a weird start time.
What time is
Game TV.
What time is the Bears game?
I don't know.
I do not
That's
know.
that's got to be a noon.
Oh
game.
my God! It's 3:25.
Whoa!
Nice.
I'm gonna be in the studio with Joey.
Oh no! Okay, now
I can't. I'm gonna have to bring my own TV.
What do you mean? It's the same game.
I won't share a TV with that Packers fan.
Damn right. There's no way. I cannot be in the same room as Joey. I'll have to watch. I'm being serious. I'm gonna have to watch the Creighton Nebraska game on a computer, and I'll have to bring my own TV and watch it outside. That is so
Heavy is
frustrating.
the head that wears the crown in the
Exactly.
NFC. Wow.
I'm not going to subject myself to watching the Packers game with a Packers fan. That's disgusting. I would never do that to myself.
Well, sorry.
Yeah. All right, that's good. Hey, there's Lane.
All right, that was a crossover.
All right, fellas, have a great day. That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It is Monday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
A chance for light snow throughout the morning with up to an inch possible for the Omaha Metro. Staying mostly cloudy and cold, high of 23 but feeling like the teens for your Monday. Winds out of the south-southwest up to 10 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, cold, a low of 8. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the sweep.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. It is December. Will it be a December to remember?
Ooh.
I don't know. People say that sometimes, though. A November to remember, a December to remember.
And that generally means good things happen,
A
right?
September to remember. No, just because you remember it doesn't mean it was good.
Okay.
You could remember bad things, I think.
I think some things are going to happen that we will remember.
I think this will be a month, certainly, out of all the months with football, basketball, and anything in between. So
volleyball. Here
we are. Volleyball? Yes. Maybe a banner being hung somewhere, something like that. I don't know. Who knows what will come up in the next several weeks, but we'll be here for most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. By the time we decide to trance off for the holidays, you'll be sick of hearing us. You're like, all right, give these guys a week off. And we'll be like, okay,
we'll take it.
Sounds good for us. Welcome to a Monday show, everyone. Connor Happer and Josh Hodson are with you. We'll be joined today by Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. At 1 o'clock, there is no Matt Rule press conference. We are into the off season.
We don't need one.
We don't need one. We got plenty to talk about. Nebraska football. Are they good or are they good? Or are they bad?
Or
who knows?
Why are those the only two options?
Who knows? Coaching carousel hits overdrive this weekend. Lane Kiffin. Another rant on instant replay. Did you see the net rankings came out today, Josh?
Why would I have seen that?
You can no longer be a denier of basketball. It is here. All my basketball deniers out there, oh my God, I can't. It's way too early to talk about basketball season. No, the calendar is flipped to December. The regular season of college football is over. It is time for you guys to get invested in basketball. And so to honor that, I have the net rankings.
Conference play starts tomorrow.
The very real and very cool net rankings. Yes, there's 3 Big Ten conference games tomorrow. Three of them. This is going to be great. I can't wait to tell you about the net rankings.
I'm thrilled for you. I'll get there. Don't worry about me. Feast week was,
but you can't be a basketball denier anymore. That's
true.
You're not a basketball denier anymore. You're just slow to the party. Yeah. That's okay.
Feast week was good. I enjoyed Feast week.
Feast week was great. College basketball showed up, and now you have to kind of pay attention to it a little bit. There's a certain team down the road who's got the nation's longest winning streak still. And they don't play another game until Sunday.
They lost a player and still won.
That's right. Out for the season is my boy, Connor, my Connor in arms.
Yeah.
Connor Essien.
Rip.
So there's all that stuff. Emmett Johnson. We should talk about Emmett Johnson. We should talk about the ACC and how I guess all the conferences have made their bed as it pertains to their stupid, idiotic formats for their conferences and have created quite the weird scenario going into conference title weekend.
I really want to talk about this.
Great.
I meant to tell you that before the show.
Awesome. Postseason volleyball coming in hot. We'll rank out some scenarios for the college football playoff that could unfold this weekend. So that is the setup for today's show. GBR Captain writes in on YouTube.
Aye, Captain.
This was quite the point of contention on Big Red Overreaction on Friday. I kept telling people I picked Iowa to win, and they didn't believe me because they wanted to come after me and they want to say, Connor, you're just another sucker, just like all the rest of the media, and you will just relentlessly over and over again pick Nebraska to win. Nebraska, you will buy Matt Rule's hunk of crap that he sells every single week. And you will pick Nebraska. And that's what they kept telling me. They said, Connor, you did it. You did that. I said, no, Nebraska's going to lose this game. I didn't think that they would lose by 24. I didn't think they would allow 40 points. No, that was unexpected. but I did pick Iowa to win the game.
And people are disputing this?
Yes.
Okay.
I kept telling them that during Big Red Overreaction, and they were like, nope.
So this goes in. This
Nope.
goes into how we consume media in the year of our Lord 2025. Connor hosts a podcast devoted to the goings on within the Nebraska football system.
Yep.
So people just assume he's one of those media guys that is constantly glazing the program, when in fact my man's a truth teller.
It's my only goal, Josh. I go to the schools and I talk to the children, I talk to the classes, and what do I tell them? I say, tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
And I cannot go to the classes and tell the children to tell the truth if I myself don't tell the truth. And so that's the God honest truth.
Huh.
I said that.
Maybe listen to the show.
John emails in.
Hi, John.
Why would I ever get excited about college basketball just because Nebraska Educational Television put on a ranking? That sport just means nothing. Means nothing to me. I would like to see.
Good line.
I would like to see NET, aka Nebraska Public Media's college basketball rankings. I would like to see where that would end up.
I want Putney's top 25 now.
All right, give us a call. Send us a text on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 402-951-1620. You can email Connor, Josh O, 1620thezone.com, and the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. You can tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, or at producer_Josh there as well, at 1620thezone, at No Context 1620, variety of different places. And you can leave a comment on the YouTube section. You could leave a comment there. People are feeling all their feels today. Maybe the Creighton people in the chat saw the net rankings and they said, I didn't like that.
I can imagine so. They're a fairly online fan base.
It says 119, Josh. 119.
That's by it.
And it says Nebraska 28. That's almost 100 spots better.
Whoa. When
Nebraska,
you put it like that,
according to the net rankings, is 100 teams better than Creighton. Could it be true? I guess we'll find out on Sunday. I guess we'll find out. Expectations have always been very, very kind to Nebraska basketball. So we'll see how that happens on Sunday. Also, the Nebraska women, 15. We don't need to talk about the Omaha women.
15?
Yeah. The Omaha women in the initial ranking of the net came out 363, which is actually last.
Oh, you like
literally last.
Literally last.
Literally last. The last team.
Well, there had to be a computing error.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's something like that. Who knows? You can't tell these computers nothing these days. So here we go on a Monday. We are pleased that you have decided to join us today as we trudge through the wilderness together, the wilderness of the off season. Ryan writes in on the text line.
Hi, Ryan.
If it's a December to remember, does that mean people won't forget? Great point.
Interesting.
You can't say people forget if it's a December to remember. Well, we got a real conundrum on our hands. All right. Hopefully you're driving safe out there. People are taking it real nice and slow, so I'm sure you are driving safe.
And if you have a big truck, feel free to drive super fast.
Or super slow. But definitely no in between. Yeah, I don't support this whole 5 inches of snow over the last 48 hours situation.
Great take.
This is not appropriate.
I don't like it.
It's not time. I wasn't quite adjusted or ready for that. But I suppose if I'm ready for basketball, then I must be ready for snow. Must be ready for Rick Pitino to jump into the snow and die of frostbite.
I guess allow me to ask, is there a Mount Happer?
Yeah, it's there. It's growing. Our parking lot has been plowed.
Got to protect that thing from Matt McMaster again.
Off and running on a Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
After further review, the host is deemed to be out of bounds. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort.
Well, for Nebraska football, there is a positive. At least Matt Rule and his staff did enough this year to not get him out on the street. And therefore that would make Nebraska go into a coaching search, which is not where you want to be right now.
Yeah, you don't want to be there.
It appears. So a quick refresher from over the weekend. So there was 100 SEC jobs that ended up being open.
Mm-hmm.
They hired the following people. Arkansas finally got around to hiring the Memphis coach, Ryan Silverfield, who, I mean, Memphis has the most resources available to them than all the other ACC programs, likely. And that guy has been okay. They were in the hunt for the G5 playoff spot this year. Didn't end up getting it. Ryan Silverfield goes to Arkansas. What is Arkansas doing? I don't know, but that seems like a pretty on par hire for me. Let's just hire the Memphis coach, they said. Last time it was the Georgia offensive line coach. The time before that, it was the North Texas coach, right? Let's just, whatever guy seems to be there for us, we'll take him. We're not going to get competitive in any of these fields. Auburn hired Alex Golesh, the South Florida coach, another AAC school. Florida hired Tulane coach John Summerall, who will coach Tulane in the playoff. Ole Miss, after losing Lane Kiffin, promotes their defensive coordinator, Pete Golding. We'll see how long that holds. And then, of course, LSU went and grabbed Lane Kiffin. We'll talk about the whole Lane Kiffin saga as we go on throughout the show today. Michigan State has reportedly hired Pat Fitzgerald after firing Jonathan Smith, Mr. Fluidity, a couple days ago. And they were like, yep, let's just take Pat Fitzgerald. Interesting. We'll see where that one ends up for them. We still don't know what's going on at Penn State. I don't know what they're cooking over there. No idea.
What do they got going on over
there? The JMU guy, the James Madison guy, is still out there. I don't know what he's going to end up doing if maybe he stays at James Madison. The UCLA job is still open at the moment. There will be further movement that happens within the coming days. I don't know if this coaching carousel overall was really the most star-studded. There weren't a whole lot of names, big names moving in, moving out, big retirements or anything like that created this sort of domino effect. But to make up for the lack of drama, we got Lane Kiffin. Thank you, Lane Kiffin. Boy, I was just glued to Twitter Friday afternoon, Friday night. How's this going to look? When Lane Kiffin finally says something, how's this going to look? Is he going to do a sit down with Marty Smith and announce where he's going to go? Is he, what does this? And it turns out that it was a lot more complicated than that. It moved through Friday night and into Saturday morning, where it became apparent that Lane Kiffin was then going to take the LSU job, but he wanted to continue to coach his team throughout the college football playoff. And then Lane Kiffin reportedly, I don't know how much, it's all hearsay because obviously Ole Miss is completely turned on him. There's text threads and Snapchats all across the board out there on the former Ole Miss head coach. But it was like, I'm going to take my staff and I'm going to purge your program if you don't let me coach this college football playoff or whatever it might be. I don't know how much of that was true. Saturday afternoon, there was a scheduled team meeting on Saturday that got pushed back and all that stuff. And Lane Kiffin was then not allowed to be in that meeting to tell his team, hey, look, here's the deal. I gotta go. I love you guys, but I gotta go. That did not happen for Lane, and he instead got on the plane right away. Not before, though, talking for 5 minutes with Marty Smith, who was camped out in Oxford, Mississippi for several days, just waiting on any hint of information that he could get from Lane Kiffin. And that's just the start of it. Oh, college football, Josh. What a place. What a place.
It's a great sport. I don't know what part of it we're diving into right now, but
we're not really diving into all of it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do the
this is an overview.
The topic is that we'll have for later is Lane. I think Lane had done a lot of rehab, personality image rehab over the last several years. He became a likable figure in college football.
Yeah.
And that all went out the window.
It did.
That's gone now. That's gone now. And and then there was the side story of the whole On3 beat guy saying the whole housewife. I don't know if I should say it on the show. I don't know if I should talk about it.
Probably be very judicious with our use of it.
Probably,
but a couple sprinklings every now and then is fine. I would imagine.
And then Lane Kiffin was like, "Hey man, you can't call me a hoe."
and the post and someone else was like, "No, that's not. He's not calling you that. He's saying you have commitment issues. It's a comparison. It's an analogy."
They went back
it's
and
a
forth.
metaphor.
And they went back and forth at the press conference. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. College football. So the drama seems to follow Lane wherever he goes, and that's not particularly surprising. It will definitely follow him at LSU as well.
Definitely.
As well. So there's your little update on the coaching carousel. Like I said, we have plenty to talk about today, tiebreakers and what's real and what's not. But when we come back, Nebraska football, not involved in the coaching carousel. Nice job. Nice job. However, losing 40-16 to Iowa at home on Black Friday is not good.
Yikes.
Is not good, ladies and gentlemen. And that is once again how you end your season. Matt Rule is 2-10 during his time at Nebraska in the month of November. They've had some really good records after September and into October. But when the season ends, here we are, 7-5, 7-5. And they were 6-6 last year, and they were 5-7 the year before that. We'll be back and dive into all that when we return on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, if you couldn't tell by your email inbox already, it is Cyber Monday, which means every single company that you are subscribed to emails from will email you about deals. Black Friday, I wake up and I mean, it's every year. It's a tradition unlike any other. I wake up and there's 47 emails in my inbox, and I'm like, delete, unsubscribe. But so we're here to tell you, we're here to spread the good word verbally. Okay. Verbally. So we have deals for the Cyber Monday here at 1620 The Zone, and they go hour by hour on 1620thezone.com. Like the 11 o'clock hour, for example, has deals going on right now for early bird. Noon is Rib Shack. 1 o'clock is Langfeld Overhead Door. 2 o'clock is Le Voltaire. 3 o'clock is Omaha Children's Museum. 4 o'clock is Site One Brewing. 5 o'clock is the Trot Room. All of those are findable on our Cyber Monday deals on our website, 1620thezone.com. Also this week, Lauritsen Gardens Bright Nights returns for the holiday season, and we would like to get you in. You can listen to Unsportsmanlike Conduct all week for your chance to win a 4-pack of passes into Lauritsen Gardens, a great place to be on the holidays to see all the lights and the illuminated features and the Holiday Express, which is a 20-foot tall tree. Excellent.
Whoa.
Excellent.
That's tall. 10
family fun nights, 22 nights with Santa and fire pits to roast marshmallows, open 4 to 9 on select evenings through Jan 4. And Unsportsmanlike Conduct will have your tickets this week. So stay tuned for the cue to call on those, assuming that's what they do, unless they do it online. But Josh and John will have you covered over there. On to Nebraska football. Josh?
Oh, you sure you don't want to run down that list of deals?
Would you like to pay
One more time?
Would you like to play your hype speech one more time? I'm sure it aged well.
I bet it didn't. Boy, they need me in that locker room, it sounds like.
Oh, I mean, it is.
They're front runners, just say it.
Yeah. Thank you. Well,
my words.
That's the show, everybody.
My words, not yours.
When things are going well, they look like a team who plays inspired. They want to play for each other, want to play for their coaches. They're aggressive, you know? Yeah, sure, they're making mistakes, whatever, but they are in it. And when it's not, they're not. And that's baffling.
They check out
and
quick.
That is baffling. And I don't think it was an effort thing, but you guys have to understand what Iowa does is, yes, they test you from a football perspective. I don't want to take any credit away from them from a football perspective. They test you in a variety of different ways, X's and O's style, but you know what to expect. You know what they're going to give you from a football perspective. It hasn't really changed all that much. Maybe a little bit this year. There's more to worry about with Gronowski as a runner and stuff like that, although that wasn't happening much. They didn't get to that part of the plan on Friday, didn't meet the kind of resistance that would allow them to go that far down the road. So we got to give them credit there. They test you from a football perspective, but what they're really testing, what Iowa is always testing, is your ability, especially Nebraska's. We're just talking about Iowa and Nebraska here. How tough can you be?
What's your resolve?
Are you willing to stay in the fight every single play for 4 quarters? And that's every play. That's special teams, that's offense, that's defense, and because you know that team has the focus and the execution level to be in the right spots all the time and to block and tackle and do all the fundamental things right. And that's their whole program. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that as a diss.
No.
Please believe me when I tell you I have so much respect for that. It is incredible. And what Nebraska as a program is sort of, we talked about this last week, as it pertains to the rivalry, Nebraska has always viewed itself as a program that has a higher ceiling and they can get recruit A and recruit B, and they got the fancy quarterback and the whatever. But it's been proven over and over again that inside the play, You still got to block and tackle. And you have to do it hard, right? And you have to do it with vigor, and you have to do it with aggression. And what I saw on Friday was that for a little while, and then not so much. And yeah, Nebraska's got to, and people want to, we're going to talk about over the next several weeks. Of course, they need to go into the portal and they need to get bigger defensive linemen and all that stuff. And some people think the problem starts and ends there. But I disagree. Because I didn't just see it from the defense. Like I didn't see an oversized for Penn State. I could see how you could make that case to me. All right. Nebraska's outmanned offensive line to defensive line. And those running backs are so good. And Nebraska just didn't have a chance because they were getting pushed around up front. I think it was everybody, like across the board, maybe sans Emmett Johnson on Friday. That is, yes, defensive line being small and outmanned and all that stuff, but we knew that going in. It's linebackers not taking on blocks, not being in the right spot. It's defensive backs not being in the right spot, not taking on blocks, not making tackles in the appropriate manner. It's getting out of your lane, not only, because then Iowa's got you, right? Once you're doing that, they know they got you because they're just going to keep executing over and over and over again. And then on the other side, it forces the other team to feel like, oh my God, we got to make a play here because the snowball's rolling downhill on us. And then when that happens, you're trapped. That's your game. And so that was really startling, a really startling way to end the season. Not just the fact that you gave up 40 to Iowa, which is startling in and of itself, Josh. Not acceptable. Not acceptable, giving up 40 points to Iowa. But it's the way you did it, where I have to question toughness, resolve, identity, all these things that are baked into what you do on a daily basis. I don't know what Nebraska's identity is. If I knew, this would be a lot easier. This would be a lot easier to talk about. I don't think that team, especially at the end of the year, was very physical. I don't think they were very tough. And toughness is not just in, I have to beat the guy in front of me. Toughness is having the stamina to do it over and over and over and over and over again, because that's what they will do to you. Unless unless it's the 1 year in 2022 where you're like, let's just throw it to Trey Palmer every time. He's better than everyone, so let's just throw it behind him. Cooper DeJean isn't back there, so let's just bomb it over the top.
That I like that. Do that.
Well, I mean, that's an option. It still doesn't fix your problems as a program.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't fix what you're all about. Nebraska was in a situation that year where they were with an interim coach, and it was kind of like a let's let it all hang out situation here, and they did that. But 13-10, 13-10, and then 40-16. A lot of your season, we talked about it last week. The shape of the offseason, the shape of how you feel about this team was going to be decided on Friday. And we have to stay true to that. That was regression. That was regression against Iowa. Iowa's good. There's no doubt about it. You can't let that game get away from you like that. You just can't. And the reason that it does is not because they're doing anything special or anything like that. They're really good always fundamentally at what they do. But the reason that you let it get away was because fundamental stuff just was not there on Friday after a certain point in that game.
It's not a problem you're going to be able to buy your way out of in the portal. Like,
no,
you have to.
So yeah,
identify the guys who are willing to fight literally and figuratively and be better in what did Matt Rule say before the game? We just got to be better.
Yeah, you got to be better. You got to make them better.
Yeah.
So like you said, Josh, it's the off season, and what will happen over the next month or two when the portal, before the portal opens, and the coaching staff may get shuffled or something like that. This will all take place in the next several weeks, and out of it will be reasons for optimism. There will always be football reasons, acquisitions, things like that make you feel okay. Nebraska will lose personnel. They will gain personnel. And you will convince yourself over the next 5 or 6 weeks that what they gained is heavier than what they lost, right? That the positives outweigh the negatives. That will happen. It just will, because that's the way it goes around here. They will have coaching staff changes, probably. But you have to ask yourself right now, do you feel comfortable about where this is heading? And I'm talking about right now. We said it last week. It's a great exercise to take stock in how you feel after the last game of the regular season ends against that team. It is a barometer game, whether you like it or not. Do you feel comfortable about where this is heading? Matt Rule is 2-10 in the month of November as the coach. That does not tell me that you have a tough enough program. I don't like the way that they react to when bad things happen. I definitely didn't like that on Friday. I get it. We could talk about the whole safety targeting thing, and it was bad. I thought it should have been a targeting. I thought it should have come back, and I thought Nebraska should have had the ball down 8 with a chance to go tie in the third quarter of that game. Of course, thought that should have been the case. Didn't go your way. So it's a safety.
Put your big boy pants on.
You're down by 10. They get the ball back. And what happened after that? Talked about this in the postgame show on Friday. Yeah, Iowa, Nebraska didn't score the rest of the game. Iowa scored 2 more touchdowns, and they won 40-16. But it's not just in that. What happened? There was little frustration skirmishes that were breaking out all across the field and pushing and shoving and all this stuff. And it's like, you have not reacted. Yeah, and maybe you could look at a team and you could say, oh, well, I like them to fight back. The only way you could do it is in between the lines and while the play is going on. And the only way you could do it against that team is with relentless execution over and over again. So I watch that and I say, that is a program that lacks the mental toughness to be able to stick in that fight. Down by 10, they're screwed. Something bad has just happened to them. We're in trouble. And so that combined with the record in November and this season, ending up the way it did, it just tells me a lot of things. And we're in year 3 now.
You got 1 quarterback in the portal. You could have 2. You could have 3. Now, obviously, you're going to go get one, or you're going to think about
they'll sort all of it out.
Sure.
Whatever happens with the quarterback will happen. I mean,
today, yeah. No.
No, I mean, here's what's going to happen, Josh. No. They're going to go get a, whether it's Latif starting next year or some, Dylan coming back or some other transfer portal quarterback starting next year. Like, you're going to like that person, whoever it is. They're going to go out and get a fancy transfer wide receiver, and you'll say that guy is actually better than Dane Key, and that guy's actually better than Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair. And you'll say, all right, perfect. Great. That solves all of our problems. They'll go out and get a big honking defensive lineman to plug up gaps and stuff like that.
Off-season national champs.
That is not the stuff that I'm talking about. I don't like how soft they are on the football field. I don't like how soft they are. They are soft, and they seem distracted at times. And then I look at the coach, and I say, that guy seems distracted at times. And there's like 100 different things going on in his head. And I'm like, this is very interesting. So you're taking on blocks, but you're not fighting through contact on the edges. You're just block me. Look, this is not that's a soft football team. This game, especially when paired along with Minnesota and Penn State, this should stick with you. Penn State's one thing, right? But because maybe you ran into a buzzsaw that night. Sure. Honestly, whatever. I don't care about your take from the Penn State game. But the Minnesota game and the Iowa game this year, I don't think the Iowa game was a no-show for Nebraska because, of the way it played out, just looking back on it. But I didn't like their resolve. I didn't like the way that they didn't hang in the game. And what are you doing? What's going on? Hold on.
Okay.
And I didn't, because I don't know what this is. And I obviously it was a no-show against Minnesota. And so when you put those two together, you're like, we can't have this. We just can't have these twice a year. Your margin for error, it's too small.
Exactly.
It's too
You're
small.
not good enough to let up.
And so, there was like, I think one of the things coming out of the offseason after year one was, oh, well, they went 5-7 this year, but man, it's kind of amazing that they went 5-7, right? That after we let the dust settle, kind of amazing that that team was able to go 5-7. And what do I always say? I say, all you want as a fan, you want championships and to beat whoever, but all you really want is to say, what is this team? What do I think they're capable of? Get the most out of your team on a year-to-year basis. And so you have to ask yourself the question, did Nebraska get the most out of this team? Did they? I
don't think so.
I don't think they did. I think there was plenty more on the table this year. And I'm not just talking about wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there was more wins on the table for them this year.
And internally they'll say, well, Dylan got hurt. That wasn't it.
Thank you for mentioning that, because
it wasn't that.
It's if that's your takeaway from this, and it's like, yeah, great, run it back. I don't know. That just seems like a parachute in, like, oh, okay, yeah, well, they lost their quarterback, and it just
hard to win with a backup quarterback in this league.
If he comes back next year, I think that's what people say. Oh, the season really went off the rails like the second he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That is true, but it ain't that. It's about how it looked and how it happened. It's not about if you win. It's about how you win. It's not about if you lose. It's about how you lose. And, oh, boy. So this game will stick with me. Wherever this ends up in a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever, this is a moment for this coaching staff and for Matt Rule in particular. Is this the big red flag that is staring us in the face on the day he gets fired, and however many years it is that we say, that's when I knew? Maybe. Or is this the day that, gets it to turn or whatever it might be? Because what I see was certainly not progression on the football field after 3 years.
Yeah, certainly. And if you want to quibble with it, it certainly wasn't enough progress to where you're like, yeah, I'm confident this is going in the right direction.
Yeah. So what do we got?
Oh, okay.
Please tell me. I haven't seen anything.
This is great. This is fun. Because this is actual breaking news. Nebraska head coach Matt Rule has parted ways with defensive coordinator John Butler. Official announcement expected later today. First place I saw it, Sean Callahan, many others reporting it as well, as we do the newsy thing and tell you who got there first.
Well, it's important to know where the news is coming from. So this is Sean.
A reliable source.
Well, it's begun, Josh. You ready? You ready for optimism nation? Because I think people will look at this and they'll say, well, we identified the problem.
That's what I wanted.
We identified the problem. And so you do have to give credit to Rule for always moving quickly on these things. So Nebraska will have a third defensive coordinator in 3 years. A third defensive coordinator in 3 years. When has that ever been? This is not me saying they should have kept Butler. I felt like that was probably going to be one of the ways this unfolded. I imagine there will be more shakeups on the staff, because of this, or not because of this, but as we go on throughout the remainder of the month here. Mm-hmm. So this is not me saying like keep him, but oh boy, you're talking about 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. Is there a change at offensive coordinator coming? I don't know. I don't, but that's another, new coordinator, new staff that you're looking at and stuff like that. That's a lot of instability. It's a lot of instability.
Yeah, and at what point do you turn and say, hey, this revolving door coordinator stuff isn't good for anyone?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, not good, Connor. Not good.
At the same time, could you go out and hire a really, really good defensive coordinator and
if you fix it, yeah,
fix it,
yeah.
right? Fix it. We'll see. So I think Rule will be talking at some point this week. National Signing Day is coming up on Wednesday. Shocking.
People forget.
We will skip our signing day show this year, Josh, but we'll just do a regular show. Remember when we all used to do signing day shows?
I was going to be camped out by the fax machine all day.
Yeah, nothing coming in there, Josh.
Ready.
In fact, it's not even plugged in anymore.
No, that's why we're not getting any.
They all docu-sign their letters of intent these days.
I heard you can just erase those if you didn't like the guy who docu-signed it.
So there you go. Reportedly, John Butler is out. That is, once again, third defensive coordinator in 3 years. Here is... So Brandon writes in. I get it. Like Brandon says,
Hi, Brandon.
At Connor Happer, changes need to be made. By the way, I didn't say that. I said changes need to be made like from a fundamental standpoint. I wasn't calling for anybody's head or anything like that. I assumed that there was going to be staff changes. And then Brandon says, also Connor, DC is fired. Oof, 3 changes in 3 years.
That's what you said.
Yes. I mean, we can be worried about all of this. We could be worried about all of this. Once again, this is not me standing on the table for John Butler. Keep him because of continuity. Wouldn't surprise me if Nebraska was just like, hey, if Matt Rule just put Phil Snow, in charge. That's a guy who he, already has a sort of rapport with and can trust and all of those things. So maybe Nebraska's headed that direction. I genuinely don't know anything yet. By the way, Iowa JD writes in.
Oh, hi, Iowa JD.
Hello, losers.
Ah, man.
Don't worry, Neb fans. You'll be happy to be back in the coaching cycle by the end of October next year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Could be. I don't think the trigger gets pulled that quickly, but
something would have to go very wrong.
You definitely don't like how it feels right now.
I don't.
Another season, a blowout loss to Iowa, going to a ridiculous bowl game somewhere in America, maybe in the southwestern portion of the country somewhere.
We're already bored with bowl games.
And then another new defensive coordinator. All right, so if you guys have a reaction to that, please send it our way at Happer Show on the JTech Constructions on Twitter feed. We got a couple of emails here that we could get to as well. I haven't actually clicked on the story yet from Sean. Are there any details in here?
Just read the headline. It's 2025.
Oh, Josh, come on.
I'm doing a radio show.
Well, I guess I am too.
You're doing more of a radio show.
Let's see. Official announcement expected later in the day. This is from Sean. Butler is relieved of his duties after just one season. Blah, blah, blah. They lost all those games. Bowl preparations, and then it's just so no details other than he gone from Sean. Also, this from Pete tweets just a moment ago. Sources: James Madison coach Bob Chesney has emerged as the target of UCLA's coaching search. Interesting.
Who is going to coach Penn State?
Who will coach Penn State? Will it be Matt Rule after all? I don't know.
It's got to be someone in the NFL.
Stay tuned. All right, we'll get your thoughts when we return. We're back after this on the Connor Happer Show on a Monday on 1620 The Zone. Here's a tweet from Michael Severe.
Hi, Michael.
Michael Severe. He didn't tweet at us. He just tweeted this into the ether. Justin Wilcox. And then I didn't count the amount of exclamation points, but
it would be impossible.
It's got to be at least 60. 60 exclamation points. Michael wants to hire Justin Wilcox as the defensive coordinator, who was recently just removed from his position at Cal as the head coach. Former defensive coordinator at Wisconsin, I believe.
Cal, the team that beat SMU. Forcing SMU, putting Duke into the ACC championship.
Could have fooled me. I don't know. I don't know who all the things that put Duke into the ACC championship game were.
That was the big one.
In one ear and out the other. But, yep. Nebraska reportedly has removed their defensive coordinator. And I should say, as we go back to this, so like the reason that they gave Butler the job, it was in part, I felt like, in part to retain 3-3-5 continuity, right? The whole, and I hate when people do the 3-3-5. It's a 3-3-5.
Can't win in 3-3-5.
Well, no, I actually do believe that. Like, they should not be running a 3-3-5, but they don't actually run the 3. It's there's a lot of 4 down line. Like, they can. Yeah. The whole point of the 3-3-5 is to be able to be flexible both up front and in the middle. But if you can't run the scheme, if you can't even be in the right GD place at the end of the season, then it doesn't make any sense to do it, right? So I don't know. As true as the day is short these days, here's what will happen. Nebraska will bring in a new defensive coordinator, and that coordinator will say, yeah, I know. I looked at this thing, and I looked at those guys out there, and I just thought there was too much thinking going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to play aggressive downhill defense. We're going to fire off the ball, and we're going to get the ball. That's what we're going to do. And that's the way it should be in Nebraska, because this is the Black Shirts. It's a great tradition.
God, it makes it feel good already.
So we're
hearing you say that.
We're just gonna get downhill. We're gonna play smash mouth football. That's what we're gonna do, because I believe that's what this university deserves.
Big Ten Conference.
Whoever that coach is gonna say that exact thing probably, and you'll say, "Damn, that is exactly what they needed." I love that idea. That sounds.
This guy knows ball.
Anything going on in the comments as far as the John Butler situation?
Drunk Monk chimes in. Thank God, off-season natty loading.
It actually took slightly less time. I guess they're going through the meetings and they're doing the stuff today.
First day back. Tiger Shark.
Hi, Tiger Shark.
We don't have the personnel for a 3-3-5. Duh, which I believe is similar to what you were saying.
The personnel for a 3-3-5. They don't have personnel for the 4-3. They have personnel for the bear. Here's a great idea. Let's put another defensive lineman we don't have on the field. We're run the 4-3.
Let's do that play where no one knows what's going on and we're lined up off sides.
The formation isn't the issue. It's the fact that they couldn't get lined up right, and they didn't know what their responsibilities were. And most importantly, they were soft as dog crap on defense. My God. I don't watch Iowa just run it over and over and over again. Oh, what's this? A play action pass? We actually have a free blitzer running right at the quarterback, Gronowski, as he scrolls out of the pocket and missed him completely. They were not. And it's a tough play to make, sure, but it's just one shining example. Gap integrity, and all this comes back to is just toughness. People try to define that. It's toughness. We do it. It's doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and trusting the person next to you. That's toughness. And Nebraska just lacked a lot of that this year. A lot of guys trying trying to make plays, you know. And no, they definitely didn't have the personnel to help out the fact that they were young and small on the defensive line. That's for sure. But God, if because we're going to hear it a lot today, we're going to hear it over the next few weeks. One of the topics is going to be, hey, look, they're going to go out and get some dudes on the defensive line. If you just fix the defensive line, then you're in pretty good shape. That defensive line just got ran over this year.
Just get a game record.
Nebraska having the inability to stop the run this season. Horrible, awful at it, including Friday. One of the worst in the country. That was not exclusively because the defensive line was small and young. The linebackers couldn't run, take on blocks, tackle. The defensive backs never filled the run correctly, seemingly. I shouldn't say that. The defense made good plays as the season went along. It's just it was out of. You weren't doing fundamental stuff, and that's why he's not here. That's why John Butler isn't here anymore. So maybe this represents an opportunity for a fresh slate and a you don't want a massive overhaul of what you're doing, because you really have to be good next year. But there's real fundamental things that Nebraska should have been doing a whole lot better on that side of the ball this year. We will take your calls on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, and we'll start by doing that now. Here's Doug on the hotline. Hi, Doug. What's up?
Hey, guys. Hey, I think, the Omaha World Herald had an article, maybe you referenced it, but maybe we should tell, but saying, like, our three toughest games were all at home. And, for the Huskers to roll over, especially, and, against Iowa was really, really frustrating, and you spoke to all of that. But the other point I'd like to make is, that was just a comment, but, maybe in these NIL deals, they need to have incentives, like for these hired for gun dudes, and maybe they can do it, maybe they can't. But, hey, that's if this coaching staff can't motivate these guys to get the job done, like, well, hey, we're going to pay you $400,000. You'll get $600,000 if we get to 9 wins. Maybe there's something like that to bake into the equation. I don't know,
Doug. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Look, man, this stuff is not like it's not bought. The qualities that Nebraska is looking for in their players is not bought. Mm-hmm. You either have it, and you are a culture and a trend keeper and setter in the program, someone that can be followed because you're a leader and you do things the right way. But most, hopefully, you're in a world where Nebraska, when you are a transfer player coming into Nebraska, it's a place where you maybe don't know the ropes yet, and you don't know exactly what it takes to be a football player at the University of Nebraska. I'm not just talking about all the fame and all the stuff that comes with that. I'm talking about like the work that you do. Hopefully Nebraska could be a place where those new players come into the program and they have to be brought along a little bit. And it's like, here's how we do things. There's an expectation here. I think they're trying to get there. I think they're still trying to get there. Over the last couple of years, the transfers that they've got out of the transfer portal, some of it out of necessity and, whatever, have oftentimes been the leaders on your football team. People are turning to Rocco Spindler and they're wondering, man, I wonder how it was done at Notre Dame. People are turning to Dane Key, man, I wonder, how you've done it to have so much success in your career. Nebraska needs to be a place that is greater than the sum of their parts, which means they need to have every piece operating at full tilt all the time. And you walk into that program and you have and there is an expectation of day by day of like the fundamental stuff that you need to do. And obviously inside practice and inside the football games, as well. I don't think Nebraska had a bunch of bad guys on their team. I don't think that at all. In fact, I think they were, often too nice. But that's what a culture that's what a culture is. And I just don't know that Nebraska is like, I'm not saying that their culture is bad or anything like that, but like you have to be strong in that category. Hopefully I'm making sense, and I'm being purposefully vague here because it can't be defined. It's just one of those things. Like you walk into a program, and the guys who have been there for several years, they tell the other guys how it works and how we do it. And I just don't know that Nebraska, for whatever reason, after 3 years is quite there yet. They had to rely on a lot of transfer portal guys over the last couple of years. And so to get back to Doug's thing, like you can't offer a player out of the portal or on your team more money to get X amount of production out of them. Like that's not a real motivating factor. That's not a real motivating factor. You have to be motivated by your teammates and all that other. And people always talk about, well, what is it going to take to get these guys motivated and stuff like that? It's either there or it's not. And Nebraska just doesn't have it right now at this exact moment. So, yeah, there's going to be some changes coming. Has there been anything else since I've been talking for the last 5 minutes?
No.
Okay.
Seems like the status quo is held for this segment.
Good. Great. Back to the phones we go. Here is Nebraska ball Mike on the line. Hi, Mike. Good to hear from you.
Hi, Connor and Josh. How are you?
Good.
Great.
I have a question. Right now, Nebraska needs a handful of guys on this roster somehow, some way, that will look at themselves in the mirror. And in October, November, they will look at everybody on the team and say, follow me. I'll get you through it. With the way college football is set up now, and the fact you have to spend millions of dollars every year on a roster, are we capable of finding those kids every year who give a damn about the program and not the money?
I don't know. And it can't be just one, Mike. It's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot of people.
We've literally got to find Amir Abdullah. And oddly enough, you know who I just thought of? We've got to find Jamal Lord. Because Jamal Lord against Texas literally looked at everybody and said, even though that game was horrible and the outcome was horrible, he looked at everybody and said, I got this. That's what we need as a program.
They certainly need more of them.
I don't know if we're capable of finding it.
Mike, any thought before we let you go on Nebraska ball's initial net ranking of 28?
Creighton scares me to death. Because they're Creighton, and because it's Lincoln, and because McDermott's there, Creighton scares me to death. If we get by Creighton, who knows?
Who knows?
This team is set up to do something they have never done. I feel horrible for your namesake, but this team is set up to make some noise, and all they have to do is finish 500 in conference, and they're in the tournament.
They've checked all the boxes so far. That's for sure.
And I can say that in November, and I can't remember the last time I said that.
Yeah,
it's December.
It is. Yeah, it's December 1st, Mike. Okay. All right. Good to hear from you. I love the off the cuff response. Scared to death of Creighton.
Is that going to be all week?
Also, Connor Season, not my namesake. I was not named after Connor Season. I believe
was he named after you?
He's at least a decade younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might want to call and ask. Hey,
by chance,
where'd you get the name Connor?
Per chance, were you named after me? Yeah, they do. They I hate to get all like that, but yeah, they need some. They need some some guys like that. And that is all the more reason, to be dead honest with you guys. Like I'm fired up, and everybody should be good and fired up around here. To be dead honest, like the only way you do that, the only way that you create an environment of like where, you know what to expect day in and day out, is just consistency. You have to just do it over and over again. So that's why the whole shakeup thing every offseason kind of bothers me a little bit. That's why the lack of identity bothers me a little bit. But at the same time, I don't like the answer is not to fire Matt Rule at this point in time. Now, I don't like the direction that we're headed, and we've certainly had too many of these days, too many of these shakeups over the last couple of years, and too much indecision on the direction of the image of the program and where you want to be. They have to decide that. They have to pick a lane. They have to figure out an identity, and part of that is picking a quarterback, now a defensive coordinator, whatever happens in the next several months. But I just hope that they can just do something and do it long enough to where we don't have to be like, scrap that whole thing. It doesn't work. We need guys who care. Like, the only way to do it is just do it consistently. There's nobody coming to save you. Warren Buffett's not coming to donate his billions of dollars. There's not going to be there's not going to be like the best player ever in the transfer portal who just wants to come and make sure Nebraska is awesome again and run for 3,000 yards next year or get 44 sacks or something like that. Like, there's nobody coming to save them. There's no savior for Nebraska. They just have to do it. And the only way to do it really is consistency. And this is a hard part of sort of where they're at right now. If we can hold those callers for a couple minutes here, let's get to the odd news. Let's do that when we return, and then we'll feel free to continue to call in, and we'll take your calls at noon. It's the Connor Happer Show. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, analysis, and commentary in a clean, concise, and disease-free way.
See there?
What a relief. Thank God.
Wonderful.
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Have you been injured in an accident? You shouldn't have to fight with insurance companies or deal with medical bills alone. You need an experienced injury lawyer who'll protect your rights while you focus on healing. At Chandler Conway, our team understands the legal process and will handle your case with dedication. Our goal is simple.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Can I start with a comment?
Please.
Just
many of comments.
I thought it was really funny, and I don't know if we'll get to talk about it. So I just want to read it and let it sit there.
What did it say?
Great question. I like where your head's at.
Is it about how we talk about Creighton too much?
It was that comment. And I can't find it now. Shoot.
The one about, hey, so Creighton comes up for the first time today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because Mike said, I'm scared of Creighton. And the commenter said, you know what? Sometimes there's too much Creighton talk on this channel. Is it that one?
Yeah. The home of the Jays.
I also like us being called a channel. Like we're a YouTube channel, because people watching the YouTube comments are like, actually, is this just a podcast that just goes on for 12 hours every single day with different people? This is kind of
sometimes.
cool.
Oh, hi, how you doing?
Sorry, I don't know what I did.
It's a great phone. It always works.
I apologize to the people, to whoever just called. We'll get to the callers back in the noon hour. But Josh, the odd news first.
The odd news. F Creighton. There's too much Creighton talk on this channel sometimes. Wrong form of the word too, by the way. This story comes out of jolly old England.
Oh,
this man not so jolly though. Some cravings are hard to ignore, and one man had a hankering for some gummy cola bottles. You know, those gummy bottles that taste like pop soda.
You're talking about the CBD?
No, just regular old gummy bottles of pop.
What's a gummy bottle of pop?
It's like a gummy bear, but instead of a bear, it's shaped like a bottle of Coke or Pepsi.
Okay.
And it tastes like that too.
Okay. No, I actually don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
They exist.
Not a consumer in that way.
Sure. After inhaling an entire bag of these gummies, a 6.5 pound bag of these gummies,
dear Lord,
in 3 days, 33-year-old Nathan Remington found himself in the ER. What started as a harmless sweet tooth binge quickly turned into a medical nightmare, leaving the UK truck driver drenched in sweat with a bloated stomach and severe abdominal pain.
Yeah.
Remington ordered a 6.5 pound bag of the gummy candies online for about 22 American dollar dues. He thought it was a steal. I mean, who wouldn't want a nearly 7 pound bag of cola flavored treats? But by the third day, his indulgence had consequences. My stomach was an absolute agony, he said. By Wednesday, I couldn't even get out of bed. I was sweating. It was awful. It was bad. His symptoms sent him straight to the hospital, where doctors found Remington's blood pressure off the charts, his stomach pains showing no sign of letting up. The doctors thought, maybe this is food poisoning. No, it was not. Tests revealed high levels of gelatin in his system. He had overdosed on the gummy candies.
Literally.
Gelatin.
Sometimes, what happens when you have too much gelatin?
It's a common culprit in diverticulitis.
What's that mean?
It's a condition in which small pouches form in the colon and become infected.
Yeah, gross. I go back and forth on this sometimes because I hear stories like that and I think maybe we can't be trusted to not buy stuff.
Okay. Okay. Interesting take.
Maybe we can't be trusted, and maybe we just shouldn't be allowed to sell crap like this at the stores. And then I think, no, like if you want to be a responsible adult and you want to buy a 6.5 pound bottle of gummy bears, then you should be able to do that so far as you are trusted to eat it over a long, long, long period of time. Right? It should take you several years to work your way through the 6.5 pound.
You got to pace yourself.
Bottle of gummy bears. But people can't be trusted out there, Josh. So it's really quite sticky. I don't know if, maybe the right answer is just America shouldn't, this isn't America, obviously, but we shouldn't be allowed to sell stuff like this because people will buy it and then they will inhale it, which will cause them significant health issues. But you can't fix stupid.
You cannot. That's a great point. Haribo Haribo Happy Cola was the product that this man bought. If you want to Google it, and because I felt bad that you were confused and I wasn't able to explain it.
Yeah, I still don't know. So, Haribo what?
Happy Cola bottles.
Cola bottle. Ooh. Oh, just the gummy bears just look like the individual gummy bears just look like the. Oh,
yeah, and they taste like whatever. Pick your brown cola of choice.
I thought you were. So he bought a 6.5 pound bag though.
Yes.
Okay, that's the problem.
That is the problem.
It's not the fact that they were colas.
No, it would have. They
were
bears, worms, whatever shape you want.
Yeah, you would have ate 6.5 pounds of it. I ate like probably like 2 handfuls. You know those Dots pretzels, the giant bag of Dots pretzels. Yeah. So they have them in different flavors now. They my wife bought the garlic parmesan ones, I think.
Oh, okay.
They're the green ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like 2 handfuls of them, and I wanted to not live anymore. I was like, no more. No more of these. And it's at that point that this guy just kept going. He just kept eating the gummy bears. Sad for him. All right.
At a certain point, there had to be like a tinge of stomach pain, right? And he's like, I'm going to power.
I got to push through this.
Yeah. I got half a bag left.
It's just me.
Still in England for story number 2, a school is asking for the public's help to find a missing teddy bear that was sent into the stratosphere with a weather balloon and fell down to earth. The Walhampton school said Bradford bear was sent into the sky by 7th and 8th grade students working together with the Southampton University Spaceflight Society, or SHUS.
Mm-hmm.
A camera on board the balloon recorded Bradford's journey into the upper atmosphere and captured the moment the stuffed toy was jostled free from his perch on November 10th. Bradford bear had been expected to parachute safely along with the rest of the balloon's cargo, but now he is believed to have landed somewhere between Early and Folly in the Henley-on-Thames area. I don't know any of those words I just said. Forgive me.
Thank you.
If you have any information regarding his whereabouts, no matter how small, please let us know, the school said. Video footage or any details would be hugely appreciated.
And so you would just see a teddy bear falling from space?
Yeah. If you saw a teddy bear falling from space, odds are you probably, there's a teddy bear on the ground. That's weird.
Well, I hope they find him. Hopefully he's not burned,
Yeah, that was kind of my question, was at what point does this all burn up?
Yeah.
We end in Florida. Good, some American stupidity for a change. St. Petersburg, to be exact, a man is accused of stealing a Tesla Cybertruck while on a test drive and causing $20,000 in damage to the vehicle.
Wow.
According to a criminal affidavit, a 26-year-old man agreed to test drive the Cybertruck for 30 minutes. The report says he never returned with the vehicle and kept it for 2 days. On November 19th, an assistant manager at the Tesla dealership found the stolen Cybertruck at the man's home. The vehicle had been seriously damaged, the dealer tag removed. The damage include a smashed rear view mirror, a missing GPS monitor, and a detached sun visor. You would log a okay, whatever.
You're really not going to get away with it.
The front, well, yeah, especially in a Tesla Cybertruck, because if you've ever been in a Tesla, there's cameras all over that camera, all over the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how they found out who had the vehicle, where it was, and what happened to it.
Once again, you can't stop idiots from being idiots. They're just going to keep doing it.
They are.
Over and over and over again. All right, that is the odd news. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
There's been somebody who's been trying to call this entire segment. Josh will now have the hands to be able to answer your phone call. We'll also get to more of your guys' thoughts.
We got 6 months to talk about this.
But this is an important time. Nebraska's reported firing of John Butler. Actually, I should say Nebraska's official firing of John Butler. Here is Matt Rule. Quote, I informed John Butler earlier today that he will not be retained as the defensive coordinator effective immediately. We thank John for his contributions to our football program of the last 2 seasons, and we wish him the best moving forward in his coaching career. Phil Snow will serve as the interim defensive coordinator for our upcoming bowl game. We will work toward naming a new defensive coordinator for the 2026 season in the coming weeks. It is official. John Butler fired. And so we'll be back to react to that further after this on 1620 The Zone. But first, football season is, of course, in full swing, and however you'd like to get in on the action, you could do it right on Underdog. Right now in Nebraska, this season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $100 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, with Underdog's ultra-fast payouts, you could get your profits in a snap. So download the app today. Use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $100 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, all on Underdog. Crypto.com predictions powered by Underdog Predict. Trading derivatives involve risk and may not be appropriate for all. For more information, visit nadex.com/rules and underdogfantasy.com/rules. For Crypto.com predictions, the term pick refers to a product traded on CDNA. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing good terms_DFS_.html for details. Consider with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Noon hour, the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Also reminding you that giving is open for Giving Tuesday 402 at shareomaha.org. You're invited to join in and donate to local nonprofits to help shape the community you want to live in. Now more than ever, local causes need all of us to be a part of giving what we can and supporting our neighbors. When you donate daily through today, you could help your favorite causes win a $500 donation. Give now at shareomaha.org. Officially into the inbox from the University of Nebraska. Matt Rule has not retained. You know, they don't even say fired anymore. I guess they never really have in the press releases.
That's how soft they are.
No, they don't do it anywhere anymore. They don't say fired in the press releases. They go with not retained or mutually agreed to part ways or whatever it is. Either way, Nebraska will not have John Butler on its staff tomorrow or any other day from here on out. I was going to say tomorrow. Phil Snow is your interim defensive coordinator. Now it's time to rally around Phil Snow as Nebraska's defensive coordinator.
Do you suppose Matt Rule was driving around over the weekend and went, snow? It's snowing out.
It's a sign.
That's it.
It's a sign. Now, I don't know if he would be a candidate for the permanent job or not. I guess I would expect him to. That would be, I would guess that he would be an option. Although if you were going to do that, then why not just say there is no interim defensive coordinator. It's just Phil Snow right now. And then you just move forward that way. But so that probably points to Nebraska actually, carrying out a search and things like that for its next defensive coordinator, usually somebody who Matt Rule is, who the head coach, and in this case, Matt Rule is comfortable with, and you go from there. Will there be other staff moves coming? I would guess so. I would guess so. Things are getting shuffled up. Not very comfortable over there right now. Not very comfortable, and they shouldn't be.
People held accountable.
There's really nothing about this. Like in an ideal world, you were able to win 8 or 9 games this year, and then you could kind of take stock at the end of the season and say, okay, here's the deal. We were young on defense, and we're outside of a couple places, pretty young on offense. As well, we're a young football team. A lot of those guys played this year. I like where we're headed. I like what we're doing. We just need another year. Let's double down. Let's take everything we did this year and just do it better next year. Well, now that the season ended the way it did, that is not an option anymore, because when you lose the way that Nebraska did over their last 2 games of the regular season, there are some things about yourself that you didn't probably want exposed that are good to get exposed, but you don't want that are bad to exist, right? And so now the option to double down is not on the table anymore. So where does Nebraska go from here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll all find out together. Doc writes in.
What's up, Doc?
Does anyone trust Rule can even make a good hire? He's had multiple hires to make every single year. Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
On the Equitable Bank inbox. Phil Snow better not even be a remotely realistic option if we want to get better. But if we want to keep kicking this Husker can down the road, well, then by all means, let's hire that dude. Yeah, I just think, all this stuff goes back to, whether you like it or not, all this stuff goes back to the head coach. Nebraska right now isn't a physical program, isn't a tough program. It's sort of a front running, at least that's the taste in my mouth that's going to stick with me all off season long. Not tough enough, not physical enough, not reacting properly to when things go against you. Play well, but only under the right circumstances, and all that stuff. That's kind of been there since Matt Rule got here. They have undoubtedly raised the floor of this program and where it's headed next, but to be determined on if they could kind of take that next step. It's an important one, and I don't know. Will making a good defensive coordinator hire just fix all that in one fell swoop? I don't know. Maybe there's some of this where Matt Rule's got to, he went out of his comfort zone on Eckler. He had to be convinced on Eckler. From his mouth, he had to be convinced by Mike, to hire Mike Eckler, by Mike Eckler himself. And the conclusion that he basically came to was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. I want everybody off my back about this whole special teams thing. And so it's yours. It's your show. And that unit got a lot better this year. Even though they didn't get great punting.
They did not.
They made do with it. And they got a couple nice returns in the return game, but there wasn't a whole lot of baffling, mind-numbing special teams plays. Obviously, it reared its ugly head a little bit on Friday. But generally, I would say the impact was felt by Mike Eckler. With Holgorsen and with Butler this year, I don't necessarily think that was I thought it would be more to start the season, knowing those guys and sort of the impact that they wanted to make on their sides of the ball. But I didn't feel like it played out to be a situation where Matt Rule was just like, it's yours. I'm the head coach, which means you, Dana, are the offensive coordinator, and you, John, are the defensive coordinator. I felt like there was a lot of Matt Rule's impact on all of that.
We thought he was always going to be very involved in the defense.
Yeah, I think he was. Like I'm saying. I mean, I think he was probably a little too involved in the offense too. I mean, what we saw from Dana Holgorsen, what we have seen from Dana Holgorsen in his first 15 games as the coordinator, as the offensive coordinator, has not been very Dana Holgorsen like. Not been very Dana Holgorsen like. Some of that is because you have Dylan Raiola at quarterback, and you have to make the best choice as it pertains to fitting him. But I don't know that they figured that out. What I'm getting to is they do not have an identity. So get coordinators in here, I guess, that will bring that to the table, and then let them do it. Right? And Matt Rule's CEO. Right? So he's got to let those coaches coach. I think that's a part of this. It's a part of this conversation. So we'll see what Rule has to say about it in the coming days. But let's go back to the phones here. Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here is Nate on the line. Hey, Nate, what's going on?
Friends, how are you?
Oh, good.
So I feel like, in fairness, you have to understand the expectation and first evaluate whether the expectation is right or wrong. And I will tell you, season ticket holder literally my whole life. Grandpa got him from law school when he graduated in 52. I bet -3 military deployments. I've been to almost every home game for 30 years, right? This is never coming back. It's not. Nebraska's success existed for several factors. First, we were an early market entry into weight training and the training table that gave us a leaps and bound competitive advantage over everybody and their mama, to such an extent teams simply could not compete, right? That's been leveled off because we trained everybody. Prop 48, which allowed us to make up for academic issues, is gone. And even if it were still here, we decided it was a great idea to join an academic snubbery conference. We're not getting partial qualifiers anymore. Third, state football is trash. I don't care about Millard South and all that. They're beating up a bunch of cupcakes. There is no more Omaha Tech cranking out crazy amounts of skill position talent. There is no longer out west. I mean, when I was a child, I grew up in the 80s. There 330-pound, 6'6" linemen came out of Seward every week. I mean, it wasn't a problem to go get a cowpuncher. They're not cranking, and I don't know what it is. Maybe we backed off the chicken hormones too fast, but they're not coming out of here anymore. So the three things that this program's success was predicated on are completely wiped off the table. Do a SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, threats on Nebraska football. You say go hire coordinators, let them coach. Okay, well, actually, Rule did that. Tony White was tremendously successful, orchestrated an amazing turnaround, and guess what? He got plucked away, which is going to keep happening. Firing John Butler was the stupidest thing possible because it disrupts more culture. Because right now we suffer from a lack of institutional stability. This thing's not coming back. 7 to 8 wins is the program ceiling. And realistically, you're not going to get the recruits you need because a Michael Orr would just stay down in Alabama, get the same amount of NIL money, not freeze his butt off, not necessarily worry as much if the cherries go on Friday night and he's outside driving. Ask Bud Crawford. Why would Michael Orr come here today? Why would Jonathan Taylor come here today? Why? Why would Lawrence Phillips come here today when they can go to other universities with similar history, the same or more NIL money, not freeze to death? I mean, like, there is no reason to believe, now that the early entry competitive advantage is gone, that Nebraska has any metric to get us back to success. success being 10-plus wins every year. It's not happening. Run the ball guy has killed this thing. Where's the hometown recruiters guy? They've killed this thing. The fan base has killed this thing by driving bad moves in the coaching spectrum, on the staffing spectrum. That's it. I mean, like, evaluate the goal.
Thanks for calling, Nate. Appreciate it. Well, let's dive into that. Let's evaluate that. It's a big picture topic.
Can I have his season tickets? Because he sounds like he doesn't
Some people
want
want
to
'em.
use them, or
Some people want them.
Yeah.
So I'm never backing off this. I do not care who the players are, where they get them from, by what, metric, whatever they have on their roster right now. Once again, it is a season by season thing for me. How does it feel going into the season? What kind of players do you have? What kind of team should you be? And so I look at Nebraska's roster, and I agree with the points that he's making. I agree with hey, those advantages that Nebraska used to have when they were winning national championships and they were really successful. Of course, they don't exist anymore.
Absolutely.
And Nebraska is just one of the people now. They're one of the college programs that is out there. There's nothing that separates them. There's nothing that sets them apart. Of course, but other programs that are in the exact shoes of Nebraska. They live in the same space where Nebraska lives from a success standpoint recently. I'm not talking about 90s or anything like that. I'm talking about recently. They get their teams to play quality, fundamental football. They play well, right? I don't care about winning 10 games. I don't care about winning 50. I don't care about winning national championships. I don't care about going to the playoff. That all sounds great, and it's a byproduct of what you do week by week, but Nebraska doesn't play well. They don't play well enough, right? It's as simple as that for me.
Preach.
They don't make routines. They don't do fundamental things right.
Not asking for natties.
I'm not asking for nothing. Wins and losses. This is why I loved Matt Rule at first, because he said all that. He said, we're not going to talk about how much we're going to win, but if we do this the right way, and if we execute fundamentally on a day-to-day basis, we're going to see where it lands. I think we'll win because I like my plan. I think we'll win. It's a byproduct of all that stuff. That's why I liked him at first, because I think he had the right idea. You have to build it from it's a culture ground up, like fundamental thing. But here we are after year 3. And they don't do it right. They don't live up to their own expectations of what we think that they should be from the players that they have. Yeah, and there's gonna be people this offseason, they'll call and they'll say, well, Nebraska needs more players. They need Warren's money, they need NIL, and how they're supposed to get these guys, blah, blah, blah. I don't have any confidence that if Nebraska were to do that, if they went and got $1 billion lopped on their doorstep by Warren right now, and Nebraska had the ability to attract players nationwide, the players that are at Alabama, the players that are at Miami, the players that are at Georgia or wherever, they could attract all of them, and all of Nebraska's, the geography stuff, whatever. The money just outweighs all of it, and Nebraska gets all the good players. I don't have confidence that those guys would come here and turn into a good football team, because they don't do stuff fundamentally right. And that's the coaching staff, right? So we could talk about all the things that aren't there anymore from a program perspective, and that were there in the 90s and blah, 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 whatever. I want that team that we just saw play 12 games. That team should have played better. That team should have played better. I don't care what kind of team. I always bring this up. Nebraska goes 4-8 in 2018 was first-year head coach Scott Frost. And they lose all these games close, and you're like, boy, I just don't know, But they go 4-2 down the stretch, and they almost beat Ohio State. And they almost beat Iowa at the end of the year. And you're like, damn, they are undermanned, but they are fighting. They are fighting. They're doing stuff fundamentally right. I think they got a quarterback. I like where this is headed right now. That they got whatever it was at the beginning of the season, it was a lot of different things at the beginning of the season. But at the end of the season, they were getting something out of that group. More than what we thought. And I'm like, I like this. I like how this feels. And then it hasn't been that way literally since. Maybe in Rule's first year. You're like, oh, man, I like the fun, like I like what we're growing here.
Fresh air.
The seeds of this are going to sprout into something nice. And year 2, it didn't happen. Year 3, it didn't happen. Right? I'm not talking about wins and losses. And just play well. Just play well.
I think I know the answer to this, but let me just kind of ask a question. Do you think that's because of lack of buy-in, or that's not being preached in the building about you got to fight? You got to.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I don't think it can be a lack of buy-in at this point. I mean, every single player was recruited by Rule and his staff and all that stuff. It just, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is, but it's not there yet. So I got a couple emails here from John who says, hey, listen to what you're saying, Connor. Say what it means. Rule is not good. That's what John said. Rule is not good. And then he said, as you said, Connor, all these things go back to the head coach. You're getting very close. Just say it. Rule is not a very good coach. I can't say that because I don't know that for sure. I don't know that to for sure be the case, but I am questioning it now more than ever. I'm questioning whether this will get to wherever they want to go now more than ever. For the record, I've always questioned it. I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago on the show. I don't know if Rule's going to be the guy to get to them to the next step. I know what he's already accomplished, and it's raising the floor of the program. And I think that's, that was step one. But this has got to go to the next step. And in order, you can't skip over steps. You can't being a program that's in Nebraska's situation where they stand in the landscape of college football. You can't skip steps. You can't just say, oh, well, we got a quarterback and he's a 5-star, and that'll cover up for the fundamental things that we don't do well. Maybe that happened. Maybe we'll look back and we'll say, they thought that Dylan Raiola was going to push them to a level that they weren't ready for yet, or something. I don't know, but yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in where it's going to end up at this point. No, I don't.
I'm teetering. I saw a lot of things.
But I'm not saying fire anybody.
Yeah, no. I saw some things I liked this year. I saw a lot of things I didn't like this year.
Jason writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Jason.
Cool, Nate. Let's just shut the whole thing down, I guess. Now, so once again, to get back to Nate's point, you're never going to get me off of this ever. Nebraska can win. Nebraska can win. Just like every other program around the country has the ability to win. You can do it. It's possible. You just have to have a good coach, and you just have to have a bunch of good coaches coaching under that coach, and you have to do things from fundamentally right. We get lost in the whole this whole NIL conversation has muddied the waters for people because they think that they are $1 million away or $6 million away from having a good football team. Okay? Make no mistake about it. Texas Tech did that this year, but they have a good coach too. They have a good coach also. So you can skip steps. It's possible to do that, but you got to be doing the fundamental things right too, right? And they're in the conference that they're in. It's a little bit easier than it is in the Big Ten. It's unrelenting in this conference. There's no doubt about that. I'm not making excuses for anybody or anything like that. They have to do it. And that's why I get so pissed off when people come to me and they start talking about the schedule next year. I don't give a rip. You have to win.
Have you seen the schedule,
I have.
Connor?
I've seen it. It's hard. Whatever. You have to win. You have to win.
Just win, baby.
That's it. Another phone call here on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here is it's Rick on the line. Hey, Rick, go ahead. Sorry about keeping you waiting there.
Josh, Connor, thanks for taking my call. Hey, Nate hit a lot of things right on the head. He was pretty much spot on. About 10 years ago, when Iowa, I think before they fired that strength coach, the morning show on 1620 was questioning why Iowa was paying the weight coach $600,000 a year. So I had a call up. I won't say the name of the host, but they're still around, and they're good guys. I told them that we were paying a receivers coach at Nebraska $375,000 who was in timeout for a little incident on the streets, and he only got a couple of weeks, but eventually he left the program. But where I'm getting at is with the continuity of a team like Iowa, where even though they replaced that strength coach because of some issues, teams that can retain people, and it's hard to do in these day and ages. Nobody's going to be around for 25 years like a Ferentz, but that is part of the issue to keep the continuity. And I think Nate hit on the head back when Epley was around. He didn't use his name, but everybody was trained, and you had the good way of doing things. But on the reverse side of things, and by the way, Matt Rule is driving the Edmund Fitzgerald. It did sink on.
Oh no!
But on a positive note, the sports program overall has never been better shape. Volleyball's queen. Basketball, both men and women are looking great. Wrestling's doing well. Baseball was formidable. So if people can just forget about football, and I know that's the big selling point for the program. Meaning your program and their program, but it is what it is. If you don't have the horses, if you don't win the line of scrimmage, you're not going to win the game. It's that simple. And Iowa just had better athletes. Penn State had better athletes. Minnesota showed up that day, and we're not playing the sisters of the poor anymore. We're not beating Kansas and Iowa State and the bad years when teams in the Big 8 or the Big 12 were weak. So. It's just a new challenge, and hopefully the football team can retain some of the better players and go out and grab some, and for whatever that's worth. So thank you for taking my call. I enjoy your show, and early Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Rick, and the same to you. Yeah, it's not like how it used to be. That's for sure. But Iowa did not beat Nebraska because they had better athletes. Their athletes and their players played better. Why did they play better? Because they just inherently were better?
They tried harder.
Yeah.
They knew what they wanted to do.
They didn't try. No, I don't want to do that for, like Nebraska was trying hard. They just don't know how to channel the try. It just seems like they don't know how to channel the trying into the right, thing. Sometimes it's trying too hard. You're going out of your lane and you're trying to make a play or something like that. But they have a self-understanding. They have an identity. They have a self-understanding, know exactly who they are. And it's taught over generations. It's taught over class over class over class over class. You have to learn to be an Iowa football player. All as corny and as weird as that sounds, that's how they produce what they produce. And this year it was 8-4 with a bunch of close losses to some really, 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 really good teams. So they got the most out of they got the most out of what they could have gotten out of this year, or close to it anyway, right? And that's how they operate. So let's take a break. We still have more callers, plenty from you guys as we continue on. Once again, John Butler not retained as Nebraska's defensive coordinator, not retained. And we'll have plenty of reaction to that and continue on as we go on a Monday on 1620 The Zone. All right, a lot of people deciding to pick up the old telephone today and give us a call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline.
That's how you know it's a good show.
Got a variety of different tweets from Sam, who's coming back from Thanksgiving from his in-laws. He's surprised about all these callers. And I got this. Driving home from Thanksgiving with my wife, and she thought these were fake callers, like Chick and Nick. Which is funny.
Good bits.
He also says now that only olds will pick up a phone, your call-ins are a verbal Facebook comment section.
Okay, now that's good.
Lot to live up to on the phones today. So let's head back to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here is Paul. Hey, Paul, you're on the show. What's going on?
Guys, just hanging out, listening to some great Husker talk. I didn't know what to expect today.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And I got to give credit to Nate's call earlier for finally making me pull the trigger, if you will, on this question I have. He nailed several parts of that, of those discussion points, particularly in-state recruiting. And here's one thing I just do not understand. You look at a program locally, Millard South, they have 20 guys that are going to play at the next level, 12 of them Division I. If you had any chance to get access to that talent, it was over the course of the last 4 years, yet none of those D1 12 commits even got a sniff from Nebraska. And I just wonder why. I don't understand the science. If we're not recruiting our own backyard, it's like Howard Schnellenberger in Miami, the state of Miami, just dominating Florida. And the thing that really irks me is that a handful of those guys are going to Illinois, Penn State, Big Ten rivals, and greater, Alabama, Missouri. You've gotten just a smattering of talent across the board on both sides of the ball, and Nebraska really needs that. So I really just want to understand the science. How do you have 20 guys from one of the best high school programs in the country this year? How do they all slip through your fingers? Do you guys know anything in regards to that? I'd love to hear an answer.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Paul. Appreciate it. I wish I could speak more intelligently. I mean, really, the answer is it's a case by case basis, and a lot of these schools were, they recruited these guys kind of from the start. I mean, I think there was probably a time where Nebraska had a chance to go out and develop a relationship with Jet Tamala, the quarterback who was committed to Iowa State for some time, and then ended up switching his commitment to Alabama, and never entered, the race because, well, at the time Nebraska was a little Raiola pilled, and it doesn't seem like they are any longer, or much longer anyway. I'm not sure where that one's headed, but their quarterback commit for 26 was named Dayton Raiola, and he's not in the class anymore.
Those two guys are related, huh?
Yes, brothers, in fact.
Brothers.
Okay. Then there's wide receivers committed to Iowa State. There was a tight end who where did that guy end up? The running back is going to Illinois. There's another guy going to Illinois. And the tight end Jensen is going to be in Missouri. I think they were in on that for maybe a while. Just didn't feel like Nebraska was really interested in a lot of different ways, specifically on the class of 26 guys. And some of that is certainly because of the numbers. I mean, Nebraska was just going to they're going to take a small class this year. And there's just not that many spots to offer guys, considering what they hope and what they plan on will be coming back for 2026 for the actual football season. So there's that piece of it. And, in some cases it was, we just prefer our guy over this guy, the guy that, we've identified from previous relationships and all those other things. So I wish I could get it down to one science. It certainly would be a lot more convenient, if I could just say, well, Nebraska's not doing this, and this, and that's why. But as is the case with everything, it's a case by case situation. I wish now this whole Millard South thing is being used as ammunition for people who, want to fit it into whatever narrative, and that's just not the way I'm going to play it. because I like to tell the truth on the show. And the truth is it's a case-by-case thing. And this is just not at the top of my list. You know, it's just not. And for Nate and for the caller just there, sorry, I forgot that person's name already. Maybe Josh could help me out. Nope, that look on his face is telling me no. You know, maybe it is at the top of the list. For me, it's just not like recruiting in-state guys. It's just Paul. Thank you. Yes, it was Paul. Sorry. It's just really not at the top of the list for me. Like, I just think the players in Nebraska just have to, you know, they have to be coached better and they have to play better. You know,
a little bit of development goes a long way.
I don't think because they're from Nebraska, they will play harder or they will play better. I know a lot of people like to say that. I just don't believe that to be true. I think Nebraska could have a team full of people from Alaska. Their entire team is from Alaska.
Clearly, Jet grew up wanting to be the Husker quarterback. Not necessarily. They haven't been good his entire life.
Yeah, that's definitely not a thing anymore. I don't think people think that, right?
You'd be surprised.
Back to the phones we go. Here is Josh on the Prairie Flag Casino Zone hotline now. Hi, Josh.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Good. How are you?
Gentlemen, good. Hindsight is 20/20. I mean, we can all, with the whole recruiting thing, you know, also, you're dealing with a bunch of Nebraskans, me included, whose childhood was the 90s with 3 national championships in 4 years. So there's a lot to be done. I'm gonna say glad they made a change on the defensive side and to see what other changes they might make. But if Dylan goes, I think Donnie might be gone too. They might say, "Yep, no reason for you to be here. Bye."
Maybe.
So, yeah, it's possible. You know, as I said, hindsight's 20/20. But as far as the 2026 class, this is only Rule's 3rd full year at Nebraska. I had idiots on Facebook the other day going, "Well, we should have got Signetti." I'm going, yeah. Again, hindsight's 20/20.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what we do in the bowl game, and let's see where we are next year. And also, everybody worried about schedule next year?
People are very worried about the schedule. Yeah, that's right, Josh.
That's why we play the game. If we played them on paper, we'd be 0-12.
Maybe. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate the call. I don't really know what the point of that was. I liked it. I like the calls.
Josh is in the top half of calls we've taken today.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of the phone lines today. A lot of good stuff. Should we find out what's next?
Absolutely.
All right, back to the phones we go. Here is Zane on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good afternoon, Zane. What's up?
Good afternoon. I am currently risking life and limb driving on the streets of Omaha.
Be careful.
To call you boys and follow up Josh, who you've already stated is in the top half of callers. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow that up. But you guys were talking about fundamentals a little bit ago, and I had a little podcast I did with some boys from work because we found ourselves just constantly talking about Husker football for hours a day, and thought we probably should do this in some off time, but we no longer do the podcast. Maybe pick it up a little bit later. But we were talking, to be completely honest, I'm pretty much completely out on Nebraska football. I've been a fan for almost all of my life. And I've been on the train that NIL and transfer portal and all that stuff has pretty much ruined the sport in general. But when I just look at Nebraska football over the last, since Rule has taken over, and Josh, you were talking about where Matt Rule started talking about doing things the right way and not looking ahead and thinking about how many games we can win and getting far away from that. Not only are we not doing the fundamentals right, but we're getting absolutely boat raced by the teams that are doing it right. And when I look to next year and I look at Matt Rule's track record against those teams and see 0-8 against ranked teams and 0-4 against Iowa and can't beat Minnesota, beat the worst Wisconsin team of all time, only because we scored 45,000 points in that game. I don't understand how we can look at what he's done against those teams and expect that just willy-nilly making a defensive coordinator change and hoping and praying that we have our 5-star quarterback next year is going to amount to anything. So maybe I'm just being a little bit too pessimistic, but it's hard for me to imagine that, magically things are just going to start to improve, especially with the amount of turnover and all of those things. So
yeah.
Sorry to be the Debbie Downer, but I'm matching the weather currently.
Wow. Sad, Zane. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. So, okay. First of all, Zane, not the first person to start a podcast and then not continue a podcast.
Won't be the last.
It's okay. It happens. It happens to the best.
Life gets in the way.
The second thing is, like, depending on your viewpoint, the offseason and all the changes that are about to happen could either be the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world, right? Like it's up to you. But the point is, there is nothing that they can prove in the next 8 months. 8 months. There's nothing that they can prove. Nebraska has to be better in the football field. I love the fact that they have, I like a lot of what they're doing. I really do. I like a lot of what they're doing, but my brain hopefully will not allow me to forget what happened in some of those games this year, but especially the most recent one. The bowl game can suppress the memory a little bit. They play well, and it could be a springboard into 2026 and play hard and all those different things. But yeah, I mean, they can't prove anything for a long, long time.
And it's probably going to get worse before it gets better in those 8 months.
So whatever prism you view like Matt Rule through right now is going to tell you whether they have a good or a bad offseason. If they have a good offseason, you're probably thinking, oh, well, let's see how this goes. Like, just another year. I'm all right. Let's push it forward here. If you think at the end of it, oh, they had a bad offseason or during it, well, these moves are bad, then you're probably just out on Rule, which is fine. If you're sitting here today is like, I just can't do it with this guy anymore. Like I no longer think that we are in the too early stage to be saying that out loud.
Right. That's a thing he's going to have to combat within the fan base.
Yeah.
From here on out.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you like me? Well, because you lost 40-16 to Iowa on Black Friday.
But haven't you seen how personable I am on house rules?
Yeah, I like that part. That's cool. But I hate the fact that you lost 40-16 to Iowa on Black Friday.
But did you see me be nice to those music dorks with the good glasses?
Yeah, that was cool. I like that. I like that podcast. I like that. I like all those things. I like when he talked about Runzas. Do you remember losing to Iowa 40-16?
Let me answer your question with a question. Have you been to the Dry Bar?
Great place. My wife goes there all the time.
Okay.
But I really didn't like how you lost 40-16 to Iowa on Black Friday.
Agree to disagree.
So this is our entire offseason. We're to just map it out. I really want to talk about Lane Kiffin. Can we please talk about Lane Kiffin?
It would be a lot of fun if you let us talk about Lane Kiffin.
Let's talk about Lane Kiffin for just a couple minutes. We'll do that next. Here on 1620 The Zone. But first, let's talk a little bit about underdog fantasy, ladies and gentlemen, as the weather cools down. The football is, of course, heating up. And that includes tonight on Underdog, where you can make picks and win money right now in the state of Nebraska. So just take your favorite players, higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. You get those picks right, you win up to 5,000 times your cash. So tonight, we have Patriots and Giants in a football game in the NFL. So take a look at the board. Look at tonight. How about Drake May? Higher or lower than 244.5 passing yards this evening. Travion Henderson, 65.5 rushing yards. Higher or lower. Take your pick and use it on Underdog, where right now you can download the app and sign up with promo code HAPPER1620 and score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Imagine that. That's promo code HAPPER1620. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Consider with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Sam McKewon's coming up in 10 minutes.
Sammy.
Which means we have 10 minutes to talk about Lane Kiffin. All right, unload it, Josh. You want me to set things up first?
Yeah, I guess tell people what happened if they've been living under a rock for the past weekend, which is fine if you have.
So Lane Kiffin was the coach at Ole Miss, and they're 11-1, and they're having like the best season in school history, and he's also getting courted by every other job in the country. And then 2 weeks ago, it was reported that he had like an ultimatum to tell Ole Miss what he was going to do, and he was like, "That's not true. That never happened." And then, middle of last week, he was like, "I'll tell you guys what I'm up to after the game on Friday, after the Egg Bowl." And then they win the Egg Bowl, and they are 11-1, and they're definitely going to the playoff. And then he didn't make an announcement. And then it becomes pretty clear that he's going to take the LSU job, and then all bleep hit the fan because he wanted to coach his team in the playoff. But the Ole Miss people are like, "What? No, you can't be the LSU coach. LSU and be the coach here and coach the playoff at the same time. We're just not going to allow that. I'm sorry." So you have to go, and then, everything else is details in between. But this kind of drama follows Lane Kiffin around, as it has a variety of different times in his career. If you really wanted to, I'm sorry. Like, sometimes timing is everything. I don't know how often you hear people say that, but timing, it really is. And so this is a tough decision for him. I understand, like, it is. But if you really want to coach the team in the playoff that bad, you just got to stay. And you just got to say, "Hey, look, I wanted to go. I wanted that job. I wanted to take the big crack. But
they offered me a boatload of money.
But the timing just didn't work. So I have to stay because I have to coach my team in the playoff." That's a big boy decision that would have had to been made. And instead, he tries to do this thing where he's kind of has it both ways. I want to take the big crack. I want to take this job. I want the job, but I also really want to coach this team in the playoff. And that's where we went a little haywire. And the timing is obviously really bad for him. The timing is he's the hottest name on a market that, is open, and the best job in the country, literally the best job in the country, is coming after him, targeting him as the one guy. But unfortunately, like I said, this is a very binary situation. You're either in or you're out. You either go or you don't. And you definitely, there was a lot of reports out there yesterday, and you definitely can't hold the administration that you're leaving hostage, reportedly telling them that you're going to poach the roster or whatever. He denied that in the Marty Smith interview, all that stuff. But he puts himself in these situations because of how he handles things. This could have been a lot cleaner either way.
Yes.
Could have been a lot cleaner either way. And it was his choice because he drug everybody into the mud, right? It was his choice at the end of the day to do it exactly how he did it.
That's what the ultimatum was. The ultimatum was not which job are you going to choose, Ole Miss or LSU.
It was just choose now.
Clearly Ole Miss had found out, "Oh, you're going to go, so we're kicking you out. We're going to kick you out. We don't want you here anymore." This isn't, "Well, James Madison's coach is going to coach in the playoff if they make the playoff." This is the same conference. This is completely different.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You don't get to do this. And Lane, after all of this rehab at Ole Miss, he gets.
He's a very likable, very likable person.
Like, "Oh, he's calmed down quite a bit. He's not the dork anymore. He's kind of fun actually now." And he goes,
he's
same old Lane.
The same stuff. It's funny how images work, right? The public perception works, because the same stuff that everybody got on him about I'm talking about like stuff in his personal life, right? Yeah. He's a bachelor. He's all these screenshots of the Snapchats and the text messages. He's texting chicks and all this stuff. Like, all that stuff was hilarious 48 hours ago. And now it seems kind of bleeped up. All that stuff was pretty funny when he was at whatever other job.
Yeah.
He's hanging around under the wing of Saban, just enjoying the bachelor life at Alabama. It's kind of funny, right? It ain't so funny anymore, is it? Ole Miss, right? And so we twist it however we see fit.
Meanwhile, if I may, the Louisiana governor fires Brian Kelly and says, we're never doing this again. Mark my words. We are never doing this again. Lane Kiffin becomes available, and they sign him to a 7-year contract, $91 million deal with an 80% buyout and no offset clause. So imagine that, a politician full of bleep.
If you're willing to. And I don't know why, I don't know what makes him the right guy other than he was just the hottest name this cycle. And
I think this is going to work. I think it's going to work like gangbusters. But you know what? This weekend, Lane, you have to take the L.
Did they have to really come after him that hard? I mean, it kind of just felt like, So Marty Smith, Party Marty, who was camped out in Oxford all weekend, he asked him an important question, many important questions, actually. It's a great interview. And the question was, okay, well, we're missing the point here. After all of this stuff and the rumor and the reports and all the ultimatums and all that stuff, the point is, why are you leaving? What makes LSU so much better than Ole Miss? He didn't really answer that question. He's like, I don't know all that. I just prayed, and that's the decision I made, which I respect.
The answer is boatloads of Raising Cane's cash, right?
I think so. I think so, but he's got.
And that's okay.
He could have all the money he wants, at Ole Miss. They would have paid him, and they would have loved him forever.
I think
and
they
ever.
would have gotten real close to the reported $13 million a year. That's a pretty big number. So don't be mad if you only get 10, 11, or 12. But I think they could have come pretty close if you would have said, "Hey, I'm thinking of going to LSU. Would you like to keep me?"
What an incredible situation, and it's Lane Kiffin, and now he's just tweeting through it. Basically, this morning he's just retweeting and doing every LSU tweet that he could possibly do because, he's the coach there now, and he's moved on to the next place. Luckily, he's no stranger to moving on to the next place, right? Travis writes in, quote, "We're not just doing it for the money. We're doing it for a bleep load of money." Oh, I mean, they got real money. It's the best job in America. Excuse me. It's the best job in America. That's why, right? Not that you can't win a national championship in Ole Miss, because he's got him in position to potentially do that, but it's LSU. That's the answer. That's what he couldn't say in that moment. It's LSU.
Yeah. It's
the best job in the country.
It's a sexy brand. It's
the best job in the country.
My daughter's dating a guy over there.
It's also the worst job in the country from the perspective of, if you screw up, you will hear about it. And I'm not talking about screwing up like in public, because we had a lot of those. Whatever. If you lose, it's gonna be over fast.
You got 3 cracks at Bama.
If you lose and they don't like you, now I think they'll like him. I think he'll fit in well.
Also, important contract note: for the next 15 days, LSU will be paying Ed Orgeron.
Awesome.
They have 15 more days left on his buyout. Brian Kelly, and they are paying Lane Kiffin's playoff bonuses that he did not receive.
That's correct.
At Ole Miss. So they are paying 3 head coaches for the next 15 days.
Awesome. I love college football. Joe writes in.
Hi, Joe.
Curious on why it hasn't been brought up. A few years ago, Florida State didn't make the playoff because their quarterback got hurt. Couldn't you make the same argument about Ole Miss right now? You could.
Vegas said it was worth 4 points.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what the committee does with that. Do they get bumped down a spot? But I just don't think they're close enough to the edge right now. Florida State was the last team, would have been the last team in, even though they went undefeated that year. They would have been the last team in. Ole Miss would not be the last team in right now. There's going to be a 2-loss team or 2 that gets into the playoff. Ole Miss is clear of that.
I think it will cost them a home playoff game.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially could. So it will affect them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be the difference between making and missing. If Florida State would have been, if we would have had a 12-team playoff the year that Florida State didn't make it, they would have been in because you would have had to. They weren't on the 12-team edge. They were on the 4-team edge. Obviously, Ole Miss wouldn't make it in a 4-team playoff scenario. this year. What a fun time in college football. And we could have talked about it for 30 minutes, but that's just the baseline of it all. When we come back, Sam McKewon of the Omaha World Herald, he will join. It's been a busy day around Lincoln. So let's talk about it next on 1620 The Zone.
Sam McKewon is the newsman. Sam McKewon, Omaha World Herald. On the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Well, busy day for our good friend Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald, who joins us now on the Prairie Flyer Casino Zone hotline. Sam, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, it is busy. That's for sure.
I don't want to skip right by Friday because that's what our conversation would have been about had news not come down a couple hours ago. So it's
connected.
Yeah, it definitely is connected. What did Nebraska solve the root cause of how it happened on Friday with what they did today, or how are they connected?
Oh, I don't know that they did. No, I think that the issue with the run defense goes deeper than John Butler's schematics. Now, what I will say is that he was pretty frank. He's a very honest guy, and I appreciate that about Butler. He was very frank last week with his comments related to needing to go out and get more players in the portal, and they dedicated a lot of schematic resources, as he said it,
to stopping the run and that it gets dangerous. And he was almost kind of implying that, you know, the pass defense that he had spent so much of the season cultivating was suffering because they were deploying so many schematic resources to stopping the run. The team didn't get very many sacks. The team didn't get very many tackles for loss. Didn't get a lot of takeaways. It did a pretty good job of obviously preventing big pass plays. It did a good job of that, but it couldn't stop the run. Defensive front seven couldn't consistently make plays behind the line of scrimmage. I do think some of that's personnel, but ultimately, you know, they were willing to cash him out. I don't know that John's going to go get another coordinator job somewhere. I don't know what the story is at Boston College where Bill O'Brien's coaching. It's hard for me to say that he's going to get one, but you know, I think they were just. I just don't think there was enough adaptation from what they wanted to have done, and then I think there was some friction after the Minnesota game. You know, of like he didn't call it very aggressively, and then Butler did some of those things, and then didn't go that well, and so on and so forth. These kinds of things happen, and the largest issue is probably the money. The money's probably $1.1 million. He may go get another job somewhere. I'm sure he's very upset and frustrated that things went the way they did toward the end of the year. But I thought the defense took a turn for the much worse in those last two games.
Yep.
That I think was probably what did Butler in. He's a good coach, but those last two games were a collapse on the against the run and against the pass. And you got to remember the way that college football is played now. There's not as many plays as there used to be. And offenses Nebraska's offense isn't very explosive. So you're not out there for that many plays. So when somebody says, well, they only gave up, 379 yards. Well, yeah, they gave that up over 61 plays. Now you put that at 81 plays, it looks a lot different. But Nebraska's offense moves like molasses so that it can protect the defense. And so right now the defense just isn't good enough. And that was a choice Rule made today. I don't know exactly where it's going to go from here, but that's what happened.
Will that still be the? I mean, from a personnel perspective, I don't know that there's like a huge overhaul coming. They're going to try and get some guys in the transfer portal, especially up front, I would guess. But whoever inherits the defense next year is, they're going to be working with a lot of the same pieces, right? I mean, so I guess what needs to happen as far as a big change on that defensive side from a schematics perspective or from a mentality perspective to get that defense playing well next year?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's some things you can do. We'll wait to hear from Rule on Wednesday and see what he has to say about it. I just don't think that defense was playing with the same amount of edge and aggressiveness and toughness and fire that it was 2 years ago. And even if you don't think Tony White had all the answers, Tony White was doing a better job of getting that, and that they were older and they were hungrier because Nebraska had so little success. But whatever it was, I just didn't see it I didn't see it consistently this year. And certainly up front, it just never got a lot better. And I think what Butler would say is, well, these weren't my groceries. I didn't shop for these guys, and a lot of these guys I inherited. And I would have loved to have had the opportunity to go out in the portal this coming December and, or in January and get my guys versus, taking the DC job and trying to shift on the fly. I understand that totally. I mean, I think that's probably a fair perspective too. So whoever is going to take over that job, it could be Phil Snow, full term. It could be Addison Williams, full term, although he didn't get named the interim defensive coordinator. It could be somebody else. Whoever it is going to get an opportunity to do some things with a transfer portal, but you have to get the players on hand better, and they have to improve. I don't know if this is the end of the staff changes or if it's just the beginning on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, it's clear that already part of the answer is yes. But will Friday's loss to Iowa be one of the ones that, like, it just kind of causes this sort of ripple effect and makes it makes Matt Rule sort of look inside and view, all right, are we really because that's kind of what Iowa does. And that's what, given that game takes place when it takes place. And if you lose it the way Nebraska lost it, it makes you sort of wonder some things about yourself. So will that tell you that will send off this ripple effect of a bunch of moves in the upcoming weeks? Or I guess, I don't know. I can't imagine it feels good inside those walls right now.
No, I don't think it does. That's okay. That's understandable. I think somewhere in there that the magnitude of the struggle, especially in the last two games, but really in all of Big Ten play, probably sunk in. And yeah, they sunk in. And I'm kudos to Cincinnati for going 7-5. I think for many weeks it was like, well, Nebraska hasn't really played that well in Big Ten play, but they beat Cincinnati. Well, that team finished 7-5, and I think lost the last 4. And that you can't hang your hat on that. You can't hang your hat on we beat a Big 12 team by 3 that was the same record as we were. That's not going to get it done. So you're measured by what you do in the Big Ten. The teams that they played in the Big Ten, the teams they beat in the Big Ten had a combined record of 9-27 in the Big Ten. Those teams were not good. 2 of them fired their coach. One of them certainly could have in Maryland and Mike Locksley, but they brought him back. And then the other one was Northwestern. So they beat Northwestern, Maryland, UCLA, and Michigan State. And I think those were, 3 of them were 3 of the, 5 worst teams in the Big Ten. So, let's not sugarcoat it. Yes, of course, they came close to beating Michigan and USC. They didn't do it. And Scott Frost came close to beating good teams during his tenure all the time and didn't do it. So where do I think they've grown? I think they've grown in the ability to beat teams that they should beat. Yep. And that's something that often eluded Frost. Often. But that's all they're at. Now you got to go out there and get some big wins, and they really haven't done that yet. They beat Colorado. That was probably their best win. And they haven't really done that away from home, So I think there's a lot to work on here, and I think they all know it. And I think the understanding of urgency is there. 5-7, 7-6, and they'll either go 8-5 or 7-6 this year. And you can't replicate that record then next year. And there are some people that are just like, well, they made some progress, so we'll go into year 4, and then they'll go 7-6 in year 4. Well, I don't know, might be year 5, and it goes into year 5.
Right.
You can do that, but that's not what Nebraska's investing all this money to do. Is to wait until it gets good. They want to get good right now.
So is this a? I mean, it's a key question. I guess Rule will have to sort of answer. Is this another year of in the offseason you sort of double down, or is this a big shakeup? And I'm not just talking about coaching staff. Do you have to rethink the way that you're trying to win football games and all that stuff? I wonder what's all under the microscope over the next couple of weeks as they try to plant the seeds for 2026.
I don't know. I think you could almost say, hey, you know what, guys, we've built the brand enough. Now let's go win football games and cut some of that stuff out. I felt like they amped up the brand even more this season. So this season it was, okay, this is the player-led team. We're going to wear the all reds and the all whites, and we're going to have the blackout, and we're going to anoint captains, 5 of whom are involved with passing or defending the pass. Emmett Johnson's somehow not going to be one of the captains or one of the single jerseys. I felt like they tried to lean into a lot of things this year, and then just fell short. They got to the end of the season. They played Penn State and Iowa. It felt like they looked tired, and it's not that they weren't trying hard. They looked like they could not compete against Penn State and Iowa. They did not look like they could physically compete against those teams. And that's the problem, because that's what it takes to win in this thing. And that's just the bottom line. I'm sure today, just as a comparison, Washington's sitting there 8-4, I think. And I'm sure their coaches are sitting there today and guys, all right, now how the hell did we beat Oregon? Because they lost by 12. They played pretty well, but they didn't make the plays they needed. And they're probably looking around and going, guys, we can't protect our quarterback. How the hell do we beat Oregon? And that's going to be the focus of their offseason conversation. Well, Nebraska's got to focus their offseason conversation on how do we beat Iowa, Minnesota, and teams like Penn State? How do we beat teams that just want to shove our face mask in, and that's going to be the conversation they're having all off season, because that's the thing that they're still struggling against.
Yep, lot to sort out, and we're at the very beginning, the tip of the iceberg, if you will. Speaking of iceberg, Sam has looked outside recently, and he's sort of felt that a little bit. Welcome to basketball season officially, Sam. We appreciate you taking the time, and we'll let you go. Talk to you later.
All right, take care.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Great stuff as always. He saw the net rankings today. He tweeted about them.
Whoa.
Sam knows ball.
You had this whole thing. You were going to celebrate the net.
Well,
didn't get to.
Now we have some time. We have some time. I mean, we still got some Lane Kiffin stuff that we could talk about. Oh, I can still get mad at instant replay.
Oh, yeah.
We could discuss how Duke ended up in the ACC championship game, because that happened.
Should have just put Miami in.
Volleyball call. Oh my God. Whew, that was a tough hang. tough hang. So we'll be back and discuss some of those things after this here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, football season is in full swing. However you'd like to get in on the action, you can do it on Underdog right now in Nebraska this season. You can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $100 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, with Underdog's ultra-fast payouts, you can get your profits in a snap. So download the app today and use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $100 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, all on Underdog. Crypto.com predictions powered by Underdog predict. Trading derivatives involve risk and may not be appropriate for all. For more information, visit nadex.com/rules and underdogfantasy.com/rules. For Crypto.com predictions, the term pick refers to a product traded on CDNA. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. Sorry, I just had to continue eating my bags of chips. My bag of chips that I brought, or that Josh got me. That I did not get from the communal pantry that we have going on.
Yeah, no, that was me. That was for our Thanksgiving feast.
Thank you, Josh.
On Wednesday.
Appreciate it. But I had to get the orange stuff out of my teeth because I forgot that I'm on TV too.
TV. And the radio.
People put us on the TV screens in their houses.
They do. They've sent us photos. It's weird.
Hot Dangerous says Connor is in his bag. That's right. Connor is in his bag. All right, on to the college football playoff. We go. Yeah. Well, first let's make a pit stop at conference championship weekend.
Oh yeah, don't want to skip that.
The ACC and all the other conferences from that matter deserves exactly what it got.
What do you mean by that?
Congratulations, conferences. So here's a refresher course. The Big Ten and the SEC decided, for some reason, to needlessly bang divisions. They said, get them out of there. You want to know why? Number one, we want to create peace and harmony, schedule equity across this great land of ours. What has that done, Josh? It has created the greatest schedule inequity we have ever seen, allowing Indiana to lose but one regular season game over the last 2 seasons because they played a grand total of 2 teams in the regular season, and they went 1-1 in those games. Congratulations to them for creating peace and harmony across the earth.
Nebraska didn't have to play anybody.
Schedule equity. Also, to make it so the best 2 teams... Well, I'm skipping ahead. Let me keep going. That obviously worked. Sarcasm. The other conferences then followed. By the way, the Mountain West tiebreaker that let Boise State into their conference championship game this weekend was even more hilarious than the ACC one.
I didn't know this.
The ACC had 5 teams tie for second place. By the way, this is second place behind Virginia, who's in first place. Virginia. Maybe you just had a league that wasn't worthy of the playoff. Anyway.
Virginia, a team who lost a game against a conference opponent, but was not a conference game.
You got it. Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami, Pitt, and SMU, all at 2 losses in the league. The tiebreaker that did it for Duke was conference opponents' win percentage. Basically, it was like a win against Syracuse that got him in or something like that. Whatever it was. I looked down the list of the ACC tiebreakers this morning. It didn't make any sense to me. And then that leads us to this tweet that you were referencing. You were definitely referencing before.
I was not.
You were.
It was not a specific reference. It was more of an umbrella reference. To
No. Just say it. This is absolute horse crap from Nicole Auerbach.
Gotta get that true.
This is the greatest piece of horse crap.
She was not the only one with this take. I don't know why you're picking on the woman.
She wasn't. She was the only one I saw.
Oh, there were a few.
What kind of idiots would say this?
I believe they saw the backlash on Saturday.
Just to be clear, Josh, I would call anybody who said this an idiot. It does not matter if they're a woman or a man. I would call anyone who said this an idiot.
Yes.
All right?
That's the point.
There we go. This might be an unpopular take, she says. Oh, what makes you think that? She says, but if I'm the ACC and Cal upsets SMU, happened.
It did. I watched it.
I override the tiebreakers and just put Miami in the ACC championship game against Virginia. What she didn't say is because I feel like it.
I feel like
that would be a good thing.
What if we had a vibes-based conference championship game?
It's all possible in college football media world 2026. You can create whichever thing you want. Indiana is cool and fun. But anyone's making the conference championship game because they're bigger brands and stuff like that. You can't just adjust the rules to make it so that the bigger brand gets in. So this is where we have landed is absolutely incredible. It is perfect because the point to the entire no divisions blow it up thing was to get the best 2 teams in the conference to play for a college football playoff spot.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds like a great idea in our perfect world with perfect harmony and everybody's doing namaste all over the place. This is like pluribus. Everybody's just working. They're just working all over the place. They're taking the drug. There's no crime.
This guy's dying for someone else to watch pluribus.
And the best two teams are in the conference championship game every year. Once again, a rule that you idiots created. You idiots in the college football media that always wants the stupidest possible thing to happen. These are people who do not care about the sport. So once again, they rewrote the rule book and they got their way. They rewrote the rule book to get their way. And then when it didn't go how they thought it was going to go, they, with the face of Nicole Auerbach, I'm just throwing her under the bus for all this stuff, want to change the rules again so it fits to whatever happened so they can get whatever they want. You already changed the rule once. You can't do it again. It's so stupid.
Miami's the biggest brand. They've been ranked highest in the football playoff polls for weeks for some reason now.
Everybody gets in the title. The best two teams get in the title game, and we all get to live happily ever after. It won't be bad at all that Michigan and Ohio State play in back-to-back weeks. Hasn't happened yet, by the way. And it won't be a bad thing at all that we have a conference title game between two undefeateds, literally number 1 and number 2 in the country, and nobody gives a rip at all. Nobody cares about Ohio State and Indiana. It's the dumbest game of all time.
I would love to argue
because we
that
made
point,
a
but I
giant
can't.
college football playoff worth nothing.
They're both going to be top 4 seeds.
So stupid. So stupid.
Go out there, don't break your leg, and whoever wins, wins.
They play the games on the field. It's already been proven a million times. And now that we can't take the teams that have already not done enough based on the rules that you made and skip them up the ladder again because it didn't work out how you thought it was in your perfect namaste world. This is sick and disgusting. I can't believe these people. And they just keep doing it over and over again. Did she even respond to any of did she even jump in the comments? No, of course she didn't.
Oh.
The cowardice. The cowardice on all these people. It's shocking to me. This is embarrassing for the sport. It's already embarrassing. It's already embarrassing.
Lane Kiffin can't coach 2 places at once, and Miami can't be in the ACC title game because it would be cooler.
That's not how this works.
And if Duke wins that football game this weekend,
they don't get to go to the playoff. The ACC gets shut out. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that the rule?
Yes, it's the top 5. It's the top 5 ranked conference champions. Duke would not be ranked.
No, they would not.
It would be both of.
See, I don't even know the rules.
It would be both of it would be James Madison and Tulane.
There'd be 2. Okay.
There would be 2 G5s. It'd be a highest ranked conference champion. Yeah, the ACC wouldn't have a top 5 highest ranked conference champion.
Huh.
Sorry, B words. You got what you asked for. Nonsensical things. If only we would have an 8-team playoff that automatically gave bids to the conference champions and then just a couple, like spots for, I don't know, 1 or 2 more at-larges or something like that, then we'd all be okay. But no. And then, oh yes, great point. Thank you for bringing this up, my dear friend Jason. I'm glad you mentioned this.
Thank you, Jason.
The bigger mistake he writes in was taking away the whole conference champions only to get the conference champions only get the bye thing from last year, all because Boise made it last year and they were mad that Boise didn't belong. And then we changed the rules. It changed it.
And then we changed the rules.
I was yelling about this at the time. I can't believe it. Thank you for reminding me, Jason.
Gosh, wouldn't it be interesting if Ohio State, Indiana was for a bye?
They were playing for a bye.
They were playing for a bye.
They'd be playing for something.
Something.
Go ahead. Anything else you want to add to that, Josh?
I think there should be more women reporting on sports.
Me too. That sounds great, but this is stupid. It's not just her fault. It's her and many others.
It's not Nicole's fault.
It's not Nicole's fault, but kind of. Here, Josh, give me I haven't played any drops today.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can. This is disgusting. where we have ended up in this college football world.
Does college football have a tiebreaker problem? Yes.
No.
Well, they're too big.
They go back like 9 problems.
Yes.
Before that,
yes.
college football wouldn't have a tiebreaker problem if they just had divisions. Which were canceled senselessly. They were murdered senselessly.
Yeah. But
for no reason. Oh, schedule equity. That way Ohio State has to actually play somebody in the Big Ten championship game. Because all the big wig college football reporters, they only view the world through the prism of like 4 teams.
Yes.
And 4 teams and then the playoff. And if it doesn't go exactly how they thought it was going to go, they'll just try and change the rules.
None of them have watched Texas Tech play football this year.
And of course, all the conferences are, looking out for their own right. It's not their fault. They're just looking out for their own well-being in this point.
Yeah.
Of course, it's dog eat dog out there.
Note to ACC commish, don't be the conference that allowed a second group of 5 team in. What's Will Compton going to do if 2 group of 5 teams get in?
That would be funny.
This should be a 10-team playoff.
Now, that would be funny for the Schadenfreude.
Sorry. This should be a 10-team playoff because 10 is the best number.
But then,
and it's as high as I can count.
But then what would happen is the group of 5 team would go to the playoff. Well, what would be funnier? The group of 5 team, 2 group of 5 teams go to the playoff. They both lose badly, and then those people get to be right. Or the group of 5, 2 group of 5 teams go to the playoff and they like win one of the 2 games or something like that. And then
they got to win.
Will Compton and says
they got to win. If there's 2 group of 5 teams in, one of them has to win because I don't want to. Miami would have hung with them. Miami would have done this. Miami would have done that.
Getting into the playoff, like winning the playoff is not the end all be all. Sometimes for a lot of teams out there, it's about making the playoff. And if we have uncertain criteria on what it takes, and it changes yearly on how to actually make the damn thing, then what are we doing? What are we doing? We've had a 14 playoff. We've had a 12-team playoff. We've had no conference. We have a conference championships don't matter anymore. The divisions are gone. We're going to have a 16-team playoff, but nobody actually knows that for another year, and then it'll be next year already. The target moves too much. If only someone had told you about this from the very start.
What are they going to do if a group of 5 team wins a playoff game?
They'll probably have to. I don't know. They might separate. That would be the moment where they would separate from the rest of the. Of the
we can't have these guys in here doing this. Like they need their own playoff.
Poor college football. Died.
Used to be a beautiful sport.
It died. It died at the hands of these people because they got what they wanted. Also, this is rant segment. If that Jeremiah Smith touchdown would have gotten overturned, there would have been a nuclear event in my basement. And I'm not talking, I'm talking real life. Saturday morning, if they would have overturned that Jeremiah Smith touchdown, the one where he bobbled it and stepped out of bounds, I would have felt sorry for the people who were in my house. My wife and my daughter would have had to hear about something.
Here's how that developed in my house. Why are they going to replay? It looked perfectly fine.
Great question, Josh. Why are they going to replay / why does replay exist?
And then, Connor, they showed that play enough times from enough angles where I said, you know what? They do need to overturn this. That ball moved.
How many times have I said exactly that on this show? If you see it enough times in super duper slow motion, you can convince yourself of anything.
Connor, they talked me into it.
Of course they did. Joel Klatt? Gus Johnson wasn't even watching because he couldn't see.
No.
But Joel was sitting there and he was like, oh, I think they might have caught a break there.
You could.
It's a damn touchdown. It's a damn touchdown. I don't care what anybody says.
At full speed, that thing's a touchdown.
Nobody should even look at it a second time.
I was so confused. What are we looking at? Okay, it's a touchdown. Maybe we're just looking at it because it's a touchdown. And then they found something.
And this wasn't one of those. Here's what the other parts of the college football media, the people that I was just talking about, they like to say, oh, that should just stand because it's cool. People say crap like that all the time. It wasn't one of those. People say it all the time. It's dumb. I think it should stand because it should stand. Instant replay sucks. And that is not the spirit of instant replay. The spirit of instant replay is to tell if a guy was a foot out of bounds when he was out of bounds. Not to say whether the ball half rotated in his hand after he was a step into the end zone and then he stepped out on a play where nobody was near him. Nobody was near him.
Meanwhile, players are headbutting officials and
they don't get tossed.
Staying in the game.
Yep.
People are getting targeted and we're not looking at it.
That was a touchdown. Wow.
It was.
That's why you make that call. Charles Wright saying the BCS. That's why they make that call. If they brought the BCS back, then maybe people would say that again. I would like it if they brought the BCS back at this point. This whole playoff thing is disgusting.
Jeremiah Smith's really good at football.
Yes. What a take.
Thank you.
I agree.
I don't think we're talking about it enough.
No, probably not. We're also probably not talking about how Emmett Johnson's any, really, really good too. But that's a different topic for a different day.
Ohio State, are we going to grant them wagon status yet?
No, for
they
them,
just don't allow a lot of points.
But for them, it's always about like what's going on up here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they are potentially liable to get beat in the playoff.
Okay.
I think they could lose to Indiana too. I think Indiana could beat them.
That's wagon on wagon in my opinion.
Yeah. Luckily, that game means a ton, and they're playing for a lot.
Pride. A trophy that Ohio State has 1 million of at home.
They're really, really good. They're definitely the best team in the country right now. But
could lose.
There's
Saturday.
always this thing in the back of my head where I'm not sure with them in particular.
They're the
now they did get the demons away from him for beating Michigan on Saturday.
They're the Rust Belts, Texas A&M.
The Rust Belts, Texas A&M. No.
It didn't feel right when I said it.
They're not Texas A&M.
I tried it on.
They're
I
not
didn't like it.
They're not Texas A&M. I believe in them way more than I believe in Texas A&M.
Which we finally believed in them, and then they crap their pants.
As we both accurately predicted. By the way, before we take a break, I will give you an update on picks.
Oh no.
You beat me by 1 game, which means we're exactly tied for the entire season.
Whoa!
And this is it.
Coach Amp, what's our tiebreaker scenario, Connor?
We go into meaningless conference championship game weekend with everything on the line.
Everything on the line.
Huge. So stay tuned for that on Friday. We're back after this with the Bulls. Touchdown! Wow! Touchdown! Wow! After this on 1620 The Zone.
After further review, the host is deemed to be out of bounds. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Host Coffee stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call Host Coffee today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
All right. I just got a text from a buddy who just texted me,
Hi,
Mark
buddy.
Stoops, ? And I said, Mark Stoops, ?
For,
I assume he means for Nebraska's defensive coordinator position. Not because he's like in the know or anything. He was just wondering about because the name is out there. He has been relieved of his duties.
He has. Is he going to go back to coordinating?
I don't know. Not sure. I don't even know that I would support that. I have no idea.
Okay.
But maybe we need to get out the wheel, Josh.
Wheel of DCs.
The wheel of DCs. Anybody could be on there.
Diet Coke could be on there.
Let's go to the polls for today.
Let's.
Preferred postie, rap or country? I say rap.
Me too.
63% say rap. Is helium a drug?
No.
No. You might get off on a technicality there.
It can be used as a drug, but I mean, technically anything can.
Could I use the bag of purple Doritos as a drug? Because I've been abusing them during this show.
You have habitual user.
I'm going to say yes.
I mean, that guy OD'd on gummy bears in the odd news.
That's true. That's a drug. 65% say no. And finally, have you been to the back of a Five Below? No.
I have frequently.
Is this like Bed Bath and Beyond, like from Click?
A little bit, yeah. Not as sad, though.
That movie was sad. 68% say no, that they've never been.
Oh.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
All right. Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching?
We are watching, well, there's not much. We have the New York Giants and the New England Patriots tonight from Foxborough at 7 o'clock. On ESPN and ABC, you can hear it right here on 1620 The Zone as well. Jackson Dart returning to the G-Men. Your Manning cast guests today include Midge. I believe this is going to be pronounced Purse. Midge Purse. She's on the U.S. women's national team.
Whoa.
Odell Beckham Jr. Did you see that Commanders catch yesterday?
I did.
And Danny DeVito.
Hello.
So expect.
Is he going to be talking about Jersey Mike's?
Yes, it will be an extended Jersey Mike's ad, I'm sure. NBA doubleheader on Peacock. Bulls Magic at 6:30, followed by Suns Lakers.
Would you like to tell people what's happening in college basketball tonight?
I would love to. There are two games on national television.
Oh, they're so bad.
Temple Villanova at 5:30 on FS1 and St. Francis at Xavier at 6 o'clock on True TV. Connor, would you like to tell our audience the highest thrill score game of today?
Yeah.
What's your little Ken Pom thingy say?
I pulled out my little Ken Pom thingy, and it told me that the highest thrill score of the day belongs to UAB at Mid-Tennessee State, live from Murfreesboro at 6:30, followed by a game out of the Southland Conference, I believe. Yes, McNeese State and Incarnate Word.
Hello.
That's your second best game of the day. Tomorrow is a huge day in college basketball.
Huge.
We have KU and Duke tomorrow. The kids have been camping out for days in Lawrence for I'm sorry, not Duke, UConn. So KU and UConn. We have Florida and Duke tomorrow. We have two conference Big Ten games tomorrow.
North Carolina, Kentucky.
No, I'm sorry, three Big Ten conference games tomorrow. Iowa, Michigan State, USC, Oregon, Purdue, Rutgers. But that's all tomorrow. Today is a piece of garbage.
So instead of that, you can watch the new episode of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman on Netflix. Adam Sandler invites Dave backstage on his comedy tour. Then they sit down at NYU to chat about stand-up and more things. And finally on HBO tonight, Paul Anka, His Way. Part road movie and part living biography, the documentary traces the iconic Canadian's journey through stardom and constant reinvention in an ever-changing industry. Paul had some comments on very famous people today.
Yep.
I encourage you to go look those up and laugh.
No. I assume that's from the doc, right?
Yeah, it might have been a
probably
clip.
just aggregated from the doc.
Probably, yeah.
He had a comment on Frank Sinatra's Wang.
It is as advertised.
I don't know how it was advertised. I don't know anything about that, Josh. Maybe watch the doc.
Well, a lot like Matt Rule, whatever you think it is, it is.
Choose your wherever we be, we be. All right, thank you, Josh. That is it for us today. That's what we're watching tonight. If you missed anything, if it's findable, this is logged for the record at 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.
Hey, it's Ashley from Saul's. This holiday, Saul's is the place to stretch your budget and give amazing designer gifts for up to half off retail. We're also buying your luxury brand items to help you freshen up your style this holiday season. Designer gifts for less at Saul's.